All right. Greetings, Brother Raheem. Can you hear me okay, brother? Unmute your mic, Brother Raheem, if you can hear me. All right. Can you hear me, brother? Brother Raheem. Brother Raheem, unmute your mic, brother. Can you hear me? Brother Raheem, say something, brother. Yo, Brother Raheem, can you hear me? Unmute your mic, brother. Say something.
Yeah, do you hear me?
There you go. There you go. All right. All right. We up and rolling here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I see everybody coming in, this is Great Black Shark, and this space right here is actually going to be mostly talking to black men about black male leadership in a system of white supremacy. I have my brother here, Raheem Shabazz. Sincere love to God is supposed to be coming through if he's able to make it. Brother Dewan B and brother Black Voltron is supposed to come through. And so basically it's going to be a round table covering four different topics: black male leadership in economics, black male leadership in community protection, black male leadership in staying on code, and black male leadership and the importance of rejecting gender wars. So I'm gonna go over the rules real quick for everybody that's scheduled to be a speaker. Sorry, ladies, it's just a male conversation only this time around. We're gonna be trying to get the men's perspective on what it should look like in our community going forward. So here's the rules real quick. Anybody that ever speaks in my space, I expect them to like mute when like another speaker is speaking. Nobody talks over each other, male or female. The other rule that's going to be quite shocking: any white supremacists that want to come over here and troll, I operate my space a little bit different. You're gonna have to pay to do that, and the minimum is gonna have to be $50. And that's even if you have a positive opinion. When I'm talking to people, I'm only talking to black folks. So I mean, that's the way I run my space. With that being said, when you start speaking, introduce yourself, let everybody know what city, what state you're from, what your occupation is, what you do, whatever you can contribute to the community. So with that said, I'm gonna let Brother Raheem Shabazz introduce himself. And after you introduce yourself, brother, I would like you to tackle the first topic on what black male leadership and economics looks like to you. With that said, I'll mute and let you hold the floor.
Peace and Black Power family. My name is Raheem Shabazz. I am a filmmaker as well as a journalist, and I'm originally from New York. I currently reside in Atlanta right now. So I'm going to address the first question. Can you repeat that question again, brother? Hello? Yeah, brother, can you repeat that first question again? I think it might be mute. All right. Well, today we're talking about black male leadership in the system of white supremacy. I think, if I'm correct, the brother said that what is the position of black male leadership? The position of black male leadership is taking charge, is being active in your community, coming together to form the community so that you control the natural resources in your community and not have outside forces dictate, who sits on the school board, because we actually can control that um, within our community by voting for those that are on the school board, by voting for city council, and like I tell everybody, all politics is local. So as a black man leading in the community, that's one of the things that we have to do. We have to control the natural resources of our community. And just as a black man, period, in society, you're not fit to lead if you can't control your sexual urges. So that's something that we really need to talk about, you know. And as a black male, I have been guilty of that in the past, but as you grow older, you start to get a level of maturity. But I see that time and time again, with a lot of brothers in the community. So that's my take on black male leadership in the community. If anybody else want to chime in and elaborate a little more, I guess the host is going to come back and allow that to happen.
Excellently put. Excellently put. I'm glad you brought those subjects up. And you're absolutely right on everything you stated, brother Raheem Shabazz. Brother Black Voltron, I sent you a mic. I don't know if you got it or not. Let me know. I will resend it if you didn't get it. But basically, to expand upon what Brother Raheem Shabazz just said there, it is very important for us to get ourselves in positions where we control the economics and the resources in our communities, because that's one of the main ways that white supremacy keeps its foot on our neck, and it keeps us held down when we are not in the ability to give our people jobs, to feed our people, to protect our communities. And with that said, I want to pass the mic to the speaker here, Brother Black Voltron. Please introduce yourself to the chat. And would you please tackle the first topic that we're discussing here is black male leadership and economics in the community. With that said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, brother.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you, GBS, for allowing me to be on this panel with you and IG Raheem and the other brothers that are, hopefully coming soon. And as far as black male leadership and economics, well, by the way, I'm from Oakland, California, town business in the building, and I am a elevator escalator mechanic, tradesman by trade. So that's what I do. That's what I've been doing for the last about 26 years now. And before that, I've been in the construction industry and some manufacturing and maintenance. So that's my background. And far as black male leadership and economics, I would say the first thing that we all have to recognize is traditionally here in these United States, since we got here through the Middle Passage and whatnot, black men usually, since we've had our freedom, have been the economic leader of our respective households, and for some reason, over the last 30, 40 years, we've lost that ethics, this ethos, and we've decided to. I ain't gonna say we. No, no. Let me retract that. Some brothers, some males, have decided to, let that ethic go and become I guess, Mister Mom, give up on trying to compete in the society for as bringing home economic resources to their families. I think last night, brother Jason Black, the first freaking call had a sad brother just give up, just totally give up. He was in jail, had a case, manslaughter and whatnot. And when he got home, he decided to have a child, some two children, with a woman who already had three children, and couldn't figure out how to pay for them. And for me, being a single father of a daughter, that absolutely, I was bewildered, flabbergasted at first. I couldn't believe what the fuck I was hearing. And then, from East St. Louis, sorry East St. Louis, shout out, but y'all had a loser right there. And he, for some reason, didn't get through his thick ass head that, hey, I'm a father and I have to raise these two babies of mine plus these additional three more. So, instead of thinking, of the economic cost, as most, competent, capable, intelligent men would do, he went on ahead, just, start busting left and right, shooting up the club, doing this woman. And, now he's has five mouths to feed. He's talking about, okay, I'm taking care of him, but, that should give me credit. Nigga, no. All right? No. Each one of these children right now, if you include college and everything else, going to cost about, you know, $400,000 to $500,000 from age 0 to 25. All right, because we have to raise our children all the way to competent adulthood. That means including, hey, I guess I'm gonna have to buy a car for all five of them because they're gonna want to drive. Hey, they're gonna have organized sports. Hey, private school. Hey, I got supplemental instruction. Hey, gonna have to go on trips. Hey, what about college? All right. What about postgraduate college? We as men should already be prepared and thinking these expenses are gonna come up. Why am I gonna allow my children to struggle? Why? That's bullshit. That's the reason why we're in the economic condition we are, because let's be 100. A lot of men quit. And I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Foundational Black American men quit on their families. All right. For me personally, I couldn't do that. I had to be there for my daughter, not just financially, but in other ways. But financially, I am the primary breadwinner. I have to make sure, my child has, number one, a roof over her head. Number two, clothes on her back, food, water, shelter. All right. And when that, children eventually ask that question, when they find a way to talk, Daddy, I'm hungry, you got to have the answer as the father. That is your responsibility. That is your duty. Daddy, I'm hungry. Kids don't take no for an answer. Our children don't take no for an answer. We can't come up with the nigga babble. All right, Daddy, I'm hungry. Oh, well, Dad lost his job. You know what I'm saying? I was in prison. The white man won't keep me down. Oh, damn, I'm trying to get something together. Children don't want to hear that fucking nigga babble. Daddy, I'm hungry. I need something to eat right now, today, this very minute. And that is our responsibility as Black men to provide, give them provision, to make sure they're comfortable so that they can be raised into competent, capable adults. And if you're not willing to do that, stop having sex with women. That's what I would say. Number one, abstinence. Number two, if you are going to do it, you better use every goddamn birth control you can. Because if you're not capable or not willing to take care of your child, why are you going to do that to a child? Because they didn't ask to be here. Why would you fuck up another human's life like that? As a man, as a person, as a human being. There's no excuse. So on that, I'm a land. Thank you.
Very well spoken, brother. And I appreciate you expounding on our brother Jason Black's program on the business. I actually caught that playback, and that brother on that call, fact of business, ladies and gentlemen, go back and check out the last broadcast of the business that brother Jason Black did and listen to that first black male caller. And see, I'm holding this space today partially because of that and other reasons, because if you hear that call, I'm just going to say it flat out. I have compassion for our people, but at the same time, as men, we are the leaders of our community, and that man is a failure. You have to understand, I don't have any kids of my own, and salute to every black father that's in here that has taken care of a child, or any stepfather. A lot of people have their issues about stepfathers, but hey, look, my hat's off to anybody that steps up and does the job. When we are the leaders of our community and we become fathers, we're basically our children's superheroes. We're their first example of what black manhood is supposed to be, black leadership is supposed to be. We're supposed to teach them all the basic skills that they need to succeed in life. And this guy, it's just like whatever happened to him, it stole all of his ambition. And, I've never been to prison myself. I've had family members that have done biz, but most brothers don't come out with that broken will that he has. So brother Jason Black asked him a question on there. I won't go into detail about it, but I don't know if he was telling the truth about that question. Everybody that heard the broadcast know what I'm talking about. But for everybody that's coming in today, welcome to this space. This is called the Black Ocean. As you see, the topic is black male leadership in a system of white supremacy. So in case anybody missed it, I'm going to go over the 4 topics that I'm going to have my speakers cover here today. And it's the first topic is black male leadership in economics, black male leadership in community protection, black male leadership in staying on code, and black male leadership in rejecting gender warring. With that said, I'm going to pass the mic to Brother Dwan B. And everybody that speaks, please introduce yourself. Let them know what city, what state you're from. Plug any black business you have. When anybody comes over here to speak, You all get to plug black business. I want every black business plugged over here from anybody that touches the mic. And today, ladies, apologies, but this is just a conversation where I'm having the men speak. No disrespect to you. You'll get to speak in others. But I want to hold this space because as that speaker, as that caller on Jason Black's the business broadcast, that's alarming. As black men, we actually have to set a standard and bring back that standard of shame for men that conduct themselves that way, because they not only do damage to, like, our image, they do damage to the entire community by way of failing those children. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, brother Dewan B. If anybody doesn't know who he is, I'm just going to brag on this brother as a musical genius. Anything you want to know about music history, this is the man to go to. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, brother Dewan.
What up, everybody? This is Dewan. Yeah, breakthroughas.org. That's my first company, and that company is dealing with. It started out dealing with IEPs and helping Black children funnel through the school system. I created that company after watching Hidden Colors and Elementary Genocide by Brother Raheem Shabazz. I saw, I was already working with. I've been working with kids here in Watt. I'm from Los Angeles. Started working with children at the age of 14, 1995, Watts, California, and pre-gentrification Watts, and so, I've been working with kids that whole time, more so as a side love thing, and then I got into full-on mental health for about 10 years, from 2009 to 2019. That's when I saw all of the issues going on. I got to see upfront and personal why our adults were so broken by what they were doing through the school system. And what I was saying was going on through the school system here in LA. I was able to relate to my own experiences growing up in schools in LA and see how the breaking process begins at such a young age. So my reaction to Hidden Colors and my reaction to Elementary Genocide was to open up a company servicing Black children, specifically all children, but my focus is on Black children. I'll take the money from anybody. Um, Getting them through the IEP process and getting them through the school process. And I did that because I don't have any children. I'm married. Shit, me and my wife's 8-year anniversary was this past Monday. Um, been with my wife for 17 years. Been best friends with her for 30 years since we was in the seventh grade. So, I opened my company because I was working in mental health, and I was seeing where we were being broken at an early age. And so that was my reaction to try to help that process, because we build better men by building better children. And that's my point when it comes to Black men in the system of white supremacy. Speaking from the point of view of someone who don't have any children. Um, Also, now with that company, I've expanded because I don't have as much IEP work as I used to. So I do a lot of relationship, communication, sort of counseling. I have a new book coming out in about a month on speaking to your spouse and speaking to your children with love. Because one of the biggest issues in our community is, especially one of the things that we deal with as men, is we often know what to say, we know what we want to say, we don't know how to say it. For those in general, whether it comes to your relationship with your spouse or someone, you have a love in your heart, in our families. A lot of us, not me personally, but I see here, people flat out don't know how to talk to each other. One thing they build black families, but if we don't know how to talk to each other, it's a lot to ask someone to stay in a miserable situation. It sounds good, but functionally, probably is not going to happen. So that's why I'm writing my book. What's done is just keep rewriting and rewriting, because there's a lot of people out there who really got love in their hearts, and there's a lot of men out there who really know what we want to say to our women, but sometimes it just the communication it don't get there, and we never get anywhere as a people if we're sitting around judging. Well, women should just receive it this way, or men should just say it that way. Really, it's on both sides to adjust how we speak and how we listen, and listening is a major component of that. So with my company Breakthrough and also in my book, I teach relationship. I teach people in couples how to listen to each other, how to talk to each other, how to communicate your love language, how to communicate to your children the things that are going on inside of you, how to communicate to people, because the last thing we need is more broken hearts between good people and good families, just because we don't know how to talk to each other. So that's my contribution to try to help the greater society of Black people on just really just learning how to talk to each other better, because we all had granddaddy. What I mean? We always say, Papa granddaddy always had another side family around somewhere else, and grandmama always had a red head light skinned kid in the family full of Wesley Snipes. So we're not gonna act like everything was all good all the time back there. When granddaddy coming home talking any old kind of way. But the reason why he was talking to any old kind of way is because of the conditions he has to deal with at work. What if we're able to come in and have the mother see it from one way and the father see it from a different way, then we can, get together. So, knowing how to talk to one another in a compassionate manner, but still assertive and stern to get the things you want out of your family. I think that's a major way, a major direction that we need to go in, is as men. And men, we're the leaders. Part of with great leadership. What do they say? What's that old tired ass cliche? With great sacrifice comes great something something. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Shit. I'm also a comedian, so I be forgetting shit. Um, but y'all know what I'm talking about. With great responsibility comes great whatever. That's part of being a man. And go ahead. Okay, I thought someone was
No,
speaking
no,
up.
I was just gonna say to much is given, much is expected. That one.
That one.
Yeah.
And as men, we're the leaders. We spearhead this right here. You know what I mean? We set the tone, and a woman responds. And if she's not responding to you, she might not be the one for you. But if you set the tone right, she gonna respond. She gonna fall in line. That's just the way it is. If you're doing it with love and you're doing it with the right, if you're doing it with the right heart. And as men, we've gotten so rigid. We got to remember that we got to keep that heart space open. And keeping that heart space open don't mean being soft, because the only way you're going to be able to keep your heart space open is through having a strong defense. The only society that can ever have peace internally is a society that has a strong ass defense for any external threats. So that's getting your gun game up. That's getting your fighting game up. That's also getting your spirit up and that's also you getting you raising your vibration and getting to a higher level and being the example for your family around you. So I think that's something that we have to do. Opening your heart space don't mean you sitting around and listening to Oprah all day and worshiping people online and saying, "Hey," and arguing over who does this and who does that. We got to stop these arguments, man. We got to get down, like what my grandmama said, get down to the nitty gritty. We got to get down to, okay, what's the problem? Let's address the problem and let's fix the problem. Because as men, we can't be like on one hand, as the brothers, we'll laugh at the women for being catty and arguing all the time. But I find lately over the last 10, 20 years, a lot of the fellas are starting to do that stuff too, and that ain't cool. You know, we got to put sports in perspective. Sports is a fun thing. It's great to watch. Playoffs are on. I'm definitely going to be watching. But we got to stop these athletes from being our heroes, because what are the children seeing? If the men are going around spending 16 hours a day talking about their favorite player, but ain't really build nothing for them, what does that tell our children when because they're always watching us? You know, so we got to, as men, we got to get that sports thing in line. The whole sports and entertainment thing. We got to stop being this whole fanboy culture that we as black men have developed since Disney bought ESPN back in 2001. This shit is sick. That's something that internally within our society we got to fix. The women are watching us, fellas. Like again, like I said, I'm not against sports. I did a sports breakdown last night because I used to coach basketball. I done got players in the NBA, so I'm someone who knows sports, basketball especially intricately. Gotten players from AAU to a 10-year NBA career, so I know what this thing is like. And being in the middle of that, this incestuous relationship we have as the men, we can't be taken serious as the men if the sports is the most serious topic that we gonna talk about. That shit gotta stop. So that's another point that I wanted to bring up. And that's what I use my channel for. Like I may talk about sports on my channel, But what I'll do is I'll talk about sports the same way I used to coach sports when I worked with kids. I would preach the game of life through basketball to my children that I coached. So if we're going to talk about it from a life perspective, and we're going to talk about, hey, have a good game, that's cool. And that which leads me to the music argument. Thank you, brother Black Shark, for your introduction on my music history. Yeah, incenseandashtrays.com. Right now, it's just a website where I do mix downs and I decode albums. But I'm actually turning that into a full on music publication. I just being here in LA, I've been raised around and know a lot of legends in this game, so I'm capturing their stories, both the legends and also the current artists, the crop of artists that's out there right now. Really telling the story of where music is and where music comes from, because we as Black people, we invented all this stuff. Whether you're talking about the blues, rock, jazz, and hip hop. Hip hop is just the newest child of the blues. The blues and the jazz have been mothers and fathers that have been giving us that have given the world every genre of music that they now use. So I use music to teach history, and I also use music to teach us about us, who we are culturally. Why? Because music has devolved in the last 20, 30 years of who's your top five. Oh, I don't like this nigga because he don't do that. I don't like this nigga because he don't say that. And we end up tearing down literally gods. These cats is the gods bringing us messages, and we'll tear them down because we don't like the East Coast, or we don't like the West Coast. I'm tired of that simple ass conversation we as Black people be having. We got to get back to using our brains again. We created jazz, man. We got Gene Page and Paul Reiser and these music composers that were better than Beethoven and Bach. And when these cats are still living, we got Marvin Gaye, we got Al Green, we got Kendrick Lamar, we got Ice Cube, we got Nas, we got all these greatness. But what do? We sit around arguing who's your top five, who's your top lyricist. All these catty nigga conversations that don't do shit. So my point of view is when it come to music, when it comes to sports, niggas, stop arguing who your top five is. I don't give a fuck who your top five is. We spend way too much time arguing over that nonsense, and in the meantime, we're literally cutting down messengers from God that gave us a message within their lyrics that's going to help us survive another day through this Holocaust that we've been going through. So my whole point of view is just to change perspective on all this shit, man. Like I used to complain about it, and I got tired of it. So instead of complaining about it and getting tired of it, I created Incense and Ashtrays to talk music history, to break music down, decode albums. Tomorrow night I'll be decoding Kendrick Lamar's newest album. Last week I decoded Ice Cube's Death Certificate. I decoded songs, Stevie Wonder songs in the Kid Life, some Earth and Fire, and the messages within the music that can help us grow and as a community and as a people. So I'm just here to change perspective. You know, my YouTube channel is Dewan B, the same handle you see right here, Dewan Space B. That's my YouTube channel. And I use current events, I use music history, and I use sports to talk about what's going on, but not from that same old low level point of view of argument, but from a constructive point of view of how we're going to use what we're already attracted to help us grow as better people. And that's where I'm gonna land my plane. And like I said, one more thing: just whatever inspires you, as men, it's our job to take that inspiration and build something from that. That's going to go ahead and be a force multiplier, like Professor Black Truth says. But I'll land my plane right there.
I appreciate that, brother. And see, I appreciate you bringing up the points that you raised there, because one of the things that we have to understand as Black men is, in this day and age, it's time for us to snatch that narrative back. And like you were saying, that all we are is entertainment and goofballs. The only thing we could do is be good at sports. Like you said, we all enjoy entertainment and sports, but there's more to us than that. We are the builders and protectors and providers of our community. So it's time for us to conduct ourselves in a way that shows the younger Black men behind us that this is the path you're supposed to walk. I have a saying that I often like to use is, anytime that Black men are gathered together, Black people, period, are gathered together, that's power. Okay. So I look at each Black man as your own individual kingdom. And each individual kingdom has rules and boundaries that you respect or don't cross. But when those kingdoms decide to come together for a common denominator purpose, that's when we always have been at our most powerful. And as we all know, That, as the new black media always says, the code is the leader. So here today, we're just going over a couple of basic things that we should expand upon in our community as black men. And with that being said, I'm gonna pass the mic to Brother Sincere Love the Guy. Brother, come on up and introduce where you're from. Let everybody know what you do. And one thing before I do pass the mic, I would love to get you, Brother Sincere, and Brother Dewan working together on some type of musical project. I'm going to definitely try to contact you brothers about that. Hopefully, I can get a lot of you guys talking because it's time to build, brothers. I mean, it's like we can see things, we know what's happened to us, but it's up to us to build what we need to serve our people first, unapologetically at that. And one thing that I know about the speakers that I invited here today, none of us apologize for anything about being black. We don't do no black and no black nothing. It's all about what we can do for ourselves, especially coming up politically here. We're going to let these people know that you're going to have to get accustomed to serving us or you get nothing from us. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, Brother Sincere. Come on up and introduce everybody who you are.
All right, peace, peace. Appreciate that, Brother Great Black Shark. What's going on, everybody? Peace to the family. My name is Sincere. I have to be very brief, y'all, because I am at work. I'm at the barbershop right now, and it's proms and graduations and all type of shit going on, so we very busy. And so I had to step outside so it wouldn't be a bunch of background noise. But I did definitely just want to chime in real quick. And, again, thank you, Brother Great Black Shark, for allowing me to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm very humble by that. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapped in with most of the brothers that you got on the panel. And I've learned a lot from all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so just to say what I do real quick, you know what I'm saying? In addition to being a barber, I'm a social political commentator in the space of black empowerment. You know what I'm saying? Focusing on economic empowerment for the black family. You guys can tap in with everything that I got going on at sincerelovetheGod.com. I'm at sincerelovetheGod on all social media platforms. Me and my sister, nyctegur, shout out to nyctegur, I see you in the audience. We got the podcast, Sincere Love the Godcast, weekly broadcast that we do. So, we talk about important issues pertaining to the black community, and we also highlight black businesses on a regular basis. We bring on black business owners and entrepreneurs to share their journey with us and highlight their business and everything that they got going on, everything like that. And so one thing that we always say at the end of the broadcast is that we are not the master teachers. We are just the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new black media. And so when I say that, a lot of y'all brothers that's here on the stage is who I'm referring to. When I say that we the signal boosters for the voices of the new black media, I'm referring to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've learned a lot from y'all. I appreciate y'all brothers and everything that y'all do with taking our power back and taking control of the narrative as it concerns the black family. You know what I'm saying? And so now, real quickly, I just want to say, when it comes to manhood, the manhood thing, that starts at home, man, with the family. You know what I'm saying? I'm a father. And regardless of the situation that brothers may have with their baby moms, you know what I'm saying? Whether y'all together, whether y'all not together, y'all at odds with each other, none of that can be an excuse to you not being a father for those children that you brought into this world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking as a man from experience because, trust me, I've been through a lot with my kids' moms, and I still go through things to a certain extent, but it never been a deterrent for me being a father to those children. It never been a deterrent for me being able to do my job to make sure that I instill the proper values within them, to make sure that they understand who they are and what it means to be a man in this world, so that my daughter understands what a real man is, what a real man looks like, and so she knows what to look for when she goes out into the world. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just all I wanted to say real quick. Like I said, I have to get back to work. If I can, I will chime in between cuts. I'm going to be listening. Again, I appreciate you for having me, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you coming into the space. And as the brother just said, it's important for us to hold spaces like this and build platforms where we highlight black men in the community that are doing the right thing. Because if we leave it up to mainstream media, they'll show us every bad thing under the sun. They act like black men just created evil itself and skip over the white male that runs the power structure pretty much around the world in the system of white supremacy. I mean, they hold the highest rates for like all types of sexual crimes against these children, as we've seen. So it's like, they want to try to demonize us, but see, we have the power today to take back control of our own image. A lot of times, the most negative voices are allowed to be the loudest voices in the room. And in anybody that's speaking about, the problems that we have with our sisters, I'm of the belief of this. If we get ourselves together first, work on being the best men we can be, work on being as productive as we can be, the women will come in line. Those women with the sense. Now, there's some people that we just can't help in our community, male and female alike. But I think that what a lot of these brothers in other spaces will get to doing is, and like Brother Dewan B said, they focus so much on the faults of the women that they forget to look at themselves, and they're very poor communicators. One of the things that you have to learn to master in life as a black man, you have to learn to be an excellent communicator. You cannot lead if you do not know how to communicate. And that means when in regards to our women, we have to communicate things to them from a space of truth. And that doesn't mean sugarcoating things or kissing anybody's ass or anything like that. But we have to make sure that they understand that, okay, if I'm communicating something to you, I'm doing that for your best interest and our best interest. And we can't be so rigid to the point that our women are frustrated or afraid to come speak to us. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic to a young brother here, INT Righteous. This is a young brother here that I've been in communications with. He actually has hopes of running for office in his state. And as you all know, that's one of the things we're getting ready to do now is send our own candidates that have been groomed and vetted by us to represent our agenda. So this young man is very bright. I want him to come up and introduce himself, where he's from. And brother, if you will please chime in on the first topic here, black male leadership and economics, if you will. And brother Torian Rain, I sent you a mic as well. If you have time, I would like you to chime in, good brother. With that being said, I'm going to pass the mic to brother INT Righteous. Brother INT, are you there? Unmute your mic, brother, if you're there. I guess the brother is busy at the moment. So what we'll do until he's ready to speak, brother Torrin, did you see the mic that I invited you there? I would like you to come up and give us your perspective on this. And if you don't have time, that's okay. Maybe we can get you back on another. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I will move on to the next topic. And that next topic, I'm going to have brother Raheem Shabazz lead off on that and give us your thoughts specifically on what black male leadership looks like regarding community protection. With that said, brother, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Peace. I'm sorry. I'm having difficulty with this Twitter space. This is the like the second time I've been in Twitter space. Can you repeat the question again, brother?
No problem, brother. Hey, sometimes these things happen, man. It's all good. You at home over here. All black people that speak are at home over here, so don't worry about any technical difficulties or anything messing up. I moved on to the second topic of discussion here, and that is, what does black male leadership look like as far as community protection? And I want you to lead off on that. Then I'm going to pass it to Black Voltron, Brother Dewan B., and hopefully the brother INT Righteous will be able to speak. And brother Tarin, if you get that invite, you can chime in as well.
Okay, before I get into the topic, right? I just want to shout the brother out that spoke, that's doing amazing things in the school system, and I'm definitely humble that Elementary Genocide documentary was able to help you on your path to educating our babies. So I really, I really feel that, because that was one of the reasons that I made this documentary, for us to see the school system for what it is and not what it presents itself to be, and then to come up with solutions where we can educate our own. And another thing the brother has spoke on with the music industry, and the main topic of discussion is always who's the top five. The top five people that I look up to are John Henry Clark. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, William Chancellor, and Dr. Amos Wilson. We got to stop being glorified groupies for entertainers, and we got to look to our master teachers for direction. If you ever get a chance and opportunity to read that book Blueprint to Black Power, by Dr. Amos Wilson, he laid down a lot of solutions and that book was written many moons ago that are applicable today that we could utilize. So that's a book. If anybody don't have it, definitely get it. It's a big book and it's a lot to digest, but nevertheless, if you go through it and read it within time, you'll be able to grasp the truth. And another thing I want to say on the entertainment industry before I go into the second question is that we have become so inundated with entertainment and sports. It's just like that's what the world looked to us as, entertainment and sport. In prison, in the handbook, they say that you cannot congregate in a group of four or more unless it's for sports or religion. And anything outside of that, they don't want people to come together. The same thing in society. They will accept you in the sports arena and they will push religion on you. But when you come together like this, as black males discussing leadership and dismantling white supremacy, this is what they don't want. That's why this is the black ocean. But to go into the second topic, all right, black male leadership and protection within our community, that should always be a topic of utmost importance. And why do I say that? Because we know that racism and white supremacy and the white supremacists are always looking for soft targets. Soft targets are women and children, and that's who we have to protect. There's a video that I posted on my Instagram, and this situation happened in Texas, Dallas, Texas, to be exact. And it was a young, I think he was 13 years old, white boy. He might have been younger than that. He looked younger than that, but he knocked on the door and was hitting the door with a whip, and he was trying to get the young girl to come outside. The mother came outside and told him to get away from the door. Then the father, who's the protector of his family, actually went over there and confronted the father about the misdeeds of his son. The father had a firearm which he displayed, and he wound up shooting the firearm by mistake, but it shot into the ground. Um, Eventually, from what I was reading, he wound up getting arrested. But we living in dangerous times, and if you look at that video, it's a telltale moment, and you could use it as a cautionary tale. You cannot protect your family if you're not practicing your Second Amendment rights. Each man legally must get a firearm in order to protect their family. And I tell people all the time, right, especially when it comes to black women, we have to use the last dollar in our treasury and the last bullet in our arsenal to protect the black woman by any means necessary. Because if we don't, nobody else will. And with that, I'm gonna yield the floor to the next speaker.
You are absolutely right. And Brother Raheem, I actually saw that video. I'm actually gonna do some content on that because man, this is one reason why I'm a big proponent of everything you just said. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment for black people. And in addition to the Second Amendment, I'm also a strong supporter of secondary deterrence. I mean, pepper spray, bear mace, pepper ball guns, security around your home. In fact, the business before I pass the mic to Brother Black Voltron on this next subject here of community protection and black male leadership, One of the things I want to encourage all black people to do, if you haven't already, if you're in here listening to the sound of our voices, invest in surveillance in your car, invest in surveillance inside and outside of your home so that you have a 360 degree, because that's another component of security. You need to see what's going on around your home at all times. If you have shrubs near your windows, make sure they're a certain height. All the basics, because today, cameras that could save you from a race soldier trying to come to your home to plant something on you. It will let you know when they're coming up. I mean, these are things we have to look at with everything that has happened to black people. I mean, all you have to do is look at what happened to our dear sister Breonna Taylor. We all saw what happened to George Floyd. And as I get ready to pass the mic here, I have to touch on that. While we're talking about community protection, dealing with these race soldiers, we all remember what we saw on camera when they murdered our brother George Floyd there. And one of the things that still has me irate to this day, I say Derek Chauvin was not properly charged. They charged him with second and third degree murder and other little miscellaneous charges, but we all saw first degree murder right before our eyes. So when I saw that day, I had a conversation with all of the male family members that, are in my family, all of my male friends. Okay. And it was a gut check for black men worldwide. And the question on our minds should have been, for the topic of discussion amongst ourselves, what if that happened to one of my family members or someone in my community? What would I do? Because I'm not going to stand there frozen and just watch you kill somebody unjustly in my community. You had the man down in handcuffs. It's for y'all. At that point, I mean, there was no reason for him, that piece of shit, to do what he did. So the response should have been community intervention. And we have to stop being so afraid to protect our own people, because these people have declared war on us. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, Brother Black Voltron. Brother Dewan B, you'll be next. And Brother Tarian Rain, if you can, please do take that invite and you can speak.
Hey, thanks, brother Black Voltron. I mean, Black Voltron. Great Black Shark. I'm a little distracted right now because this is like right on time. I want to direct everybody to the jumbotron. There's been a shooting, another white supremacist incel shooting in Buffalo, New York. White boy went to it was like a grocery store, a little mini mall, and shot up. Shot up a bunch of people again. I mean, this is like breaking news and stuff. So heard it here first. New Black Media. Far as protecting, what does black male leadership look like in protecting, our community? It starts out with the home. For me personally, that means, I've been training myself and my daughter, in firearms. Um, defense, utilizing our Second Amendment rights to defend ourselves and get the necessary training and practice. What a lot of people don't realize is just because you got a gun don't make you protective or hard. That means, you have to learn how to, number one, operate your firearm, practice with your firearm, break down and clean your firearm, and be able to use it at a moment's notice. That means practicing your draw, practicing shooting from different positions, kneeling, standing, sitting, lying on the ground, crawling, on your back, getting up, sitting down, falling down, and any other position that you might be in real life. That means, getting practice, practice firearms and learning how to, practice being in different positions using like kind of like a laser type practice firearm. I mean, not firearm, but a practice gun, dry fire, real fire, close quarters combat fire. You have to train in all areas. And, to GBS's point, Great Black Sharks' point of secondary protection, it's pretty simple, y'all. That means, like he said, pepper spray, pepper balls. Shoot, when my daughter was down, at school, um, she at the time she couldn't get any pepper spray. All right, so that involves, okay. I had to get creative. What can I use to protect her? I said, get you some wasp spray, the kind that shoots like between 25 and 30 feet. If somebody attacks you at school, you spray that goddamn wasp spray in their fucking eye. It's gonna foam up. And it's gonna fuck them up really bad because it kills on contact. That means they're probably gonna end up losing their eyesight. Is that cruel? And is that dangerous? You goddamn right. You want to be as dangerous as possible, and get out of that that you can use that as a means to get out that situation until we can get you a firearm. And she did that. She said she feels stupid doing it. Why am I carrying this big old can of wasp spray? Well, if somebody attacks you, you can maintain some distance between you and your attacker. All right. And, with the foaming spray, it's going to cover over their glasses and get in their eyes no matter what. So, we have to be creative to defend our families, number one. Number two, far as defending our communities, we just had this incident in Buffalo, New York. He went around, just found the first person he could to just blow away. And apparently, he blew away 8 people. From what I'm reading so far. We have to be on alert, y'all, for attacks. They can come in any color, any shape, any size, any gender, any way. We have to prepare not only ourselves but our families, our children, our wives, daughters, sons, uncles, aunts, parents. We are the protectors and providers for our community, meaning we're the first line defenders. We're the tip of the spear. We as men have to prepare our families to for attacks, not in a scary type way, but understand that as foundational Black Americans and non-foundational Black Americans, we're Black folks. We're going to get attacked just because we're in a white supremacist society called the United States of America. All right, it's been that way since before its inception. It's going to be that way after it dies. All right, these incels are going to be attacking us. We have to learn to anticipate, expect to be attacked, and have countermeasures ready to defend ourselves at all times. If you don't know how to do that, then you go find training. You discuss it with the other brothers. There's a reason why we're having this panel. You look for, brothers that may have been in law enforcement, in the military, and you train under them. Ask them questions. What do I do? How do I learn how to get a firearm? How do I learn about self-defense training? How do martial arts? No weapons training. How many brothers still know how to box? You know, fight with your hands coming from the shoulders. How many brothers know how to do martial arts? Whether it be Muay Thai, kickboxing, just regular karate, MMA fighting, any combination of the above. We have to, learn how to do that. And as a side note to that, far as just martial arts training, we as brothers, men, have to take responsibility to if we don't have the training ourselves, then we have to get it. That means getting in shape, brothers. You know, that means having our physicality on demand, no matter what age. That means, hey, old school military style calisthenics. If you ain't got access to weights or anything like that, push-ups always work. Squats, body weight squats always work. Pull-ups, they definitely work. All right, I attest to it. Crunches, leg lifts, running. If you can't run, walk. If everybody can walk. Start walking some long distances if you have a lot of weight on you and stuff like that, or been out of shape for a while. And then work your way up to running through interval running. Just run a little bit. 100 meters, a block. You have to be the leader in this area of physical activity because we are at war. If you consider yourself a soldier, a soldier ain't gonna be fat, sloppy, and ain't even and not able to walk 100 yards with a 50-pound pack on. You know what I'm saying? Or even walk 100 yards with nothing on. Can't walk up a goddamn flight of stairs. You should be ashamed of yourself as a man. All right. Let me say it again. You should be ashamed of yourself if you haven't got your physical fitness together, because there's going to be a situation where you're going to have to run, fight, both, and you're going to need that physicality to keep you and your family safe. All right, no matter what it is. And if you can't sustain yourself for a 5-minute fight, then you need to work on getting there and protecting your community. Now, far as in a bigger scope, far as community policing or community, security, we have to learn to get to know our neighbors and assuming they're like minded, get together and map out a plan and standard operating procedure to defend our local neighborhoods, our communities, and our cities. You know, for whatever that may be. But it starts, with self first, and it branches out to family next, and it branches out to neighborhood and the rest of society. But we have to do the necessary work to get there. Um, and I know it takes time, and it's going to take resources. That's why we go back to the economics. Hey, we got to get our economic game together in order to get our military game together and our political game together. All right, everything works together, as one. And if we all we got as black men, as a black family, be one, then we should be doing what's best to help our communities not only survive, but to thrive and prosper. That means our economic game, our military, safety, self defense game, political game, educational game, and everywhere else. But it starts with, self. All right. Work on self first. Get yourself together. All right. When people see that, that you getting yourself in shape, you lost like, 25, 50, 100 pounds. They see that you're serious and they know that, oh, whoa, hey, Russ is, John, Russ, or whoever is getting himself in shape. Damn, he's serious about, being able to defend her. And that will bring confidence not only in a woman, in our women, black women, but in our children. You know, when children know that, hey, daddy's going to be there, there's a certain level of safety, security, confidence, and well being that they have. Know that, hey, my daddy can kick some ass. Hey, my daddy knows my daddy's going to defend me at all costs. My daddy's going to be there for our family and our community. And there's a feeling of security and safety that, children who not sure if their parents can defend their daddy can defend themselves, they don't have, and that affects them literally their whole life. So I'm gonna land on that. And brothers, let's tighten it up and get it together, man. B1 Black Empowerment means we have to empower ourselves in all areas of activity, especially self-defense. And that'll be it.
Very well spoken, brother, and thank you for putting that information in the jumbotron. I'm definitely going to check that out and research it. I advise everyone to check that out because one of the things that is important about community protection with all of us, we're speaking on the black male aspect, but for everybody, because it's all of our jobs to help keep our community safe. Nobody else is going to do it. When something happens to somebody in California, I need to know about it over here in Georgia because it could be coming my way next. And then if I'm able to assist any brother or sister in these spaces by helping them defend themselves or whatever information I can give, whatever I could do, that should be the mindset that all of us have. So in regards to what Brother Voltron was saying before I pass the mic to Brother Dewan B, tactical deployment of any type of self-defense weapon that you get is absolutely essential to that. Understand how it works, understand the safety and condition check that goes with a gun, understand the caliber of ammunition that you're going to be using, understand exactly like what are the optimal conditions that you can shoot in or handle that gun in. And then when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, everybody knows that I have 30 years worth of martial arts experience. So I'm a big proponent of the first weapon is your mind. Make sure you're aware of your environment. As men, hey, we get into situations where we have to read that room a lot of times, and then that could save us from even getting in a confrontation, or if we have to get our families out. But if push comes to shove, we need to be physically fit, well trained, and ready to deal with and deter any threat that comes our way. Now, for the sisters, this is something that I want to make sure that I emphasize upon here, and I want to be the one to say it in this space. I'm not sure if everybody else that hosts these spaces will speak on these types of issues. When it comes to your self-defense, if you have a route of egress, use whatever you need to use to buy you time to leave. Unless it's a situation where you cannot do that, then that's when you fight with everything that you have to protect yourself. And I'm going to give you, single sisters especially, 2 pointers that you might want to remember here. The first one is if you do have like some strong bear spray or pepper spray that shoots out to about 35 feet or more. There's kinds that you can find. If anybody needs to know where to find that, just hit me up. I will let you know. If you cannot aim for the eyes, and this might make some of you laugh, but this is very effective. Aim for their crotch. A burning crotch will quickly get their mind together about thinking to pursue you. A lot of the pepper spray that has long reach, it soaks through even thick jeans very quickly. Aim for that crotch. Also, for single sisters, we see that we have a lot of home invasions going on. So, one of the things about self defense, in addition to a surveillance or camera system, I'm going to go here with this because this is very important. I actually gave this sister a tip on this, and it actually helped save her from a home invasion situation. If you're in your shower, that area between your inside shower curtain and the external shower curtain, put a rag or a towel or something in between that and keep that power tool in there with you. That way, in the event that somebody is going to run up in your house, you can come out with that thing busting and give them something to think about as far as getting up out of there. So it's always about like knowing your home best. We're always comfortable at our homes as we should be, but we need to be prepared with all types of deterrents. Keep extra flashlights in case you need them, just in case of the event of like any type of natural disaster, the power goes out, what have you. But definitely that surveillance and having a deterrent around your home of some type. And definitely the old standby, get you a good dog, not a poodle, not a little purse, no a little poodle purse dog, what have you. Get you something with some teeth that you can train, you know what I'm saying, to guard your home. And usually, you know, what I've come to find, if you get the right breed of dog, they're very good and very protective of women and children. Okay, you just have to get the right kind. And if you don't know what kinds there are, there's plenty of brothers and sisters in the community that can bring you up to speed on that. But with that being said, I'm gonna pass the mic to Brother Dewan B if he's ready to speak here. And the topic that we're discussing, in case you just came in, we already went over what black male leadership looked like in economics. So we're discussing what black male community protection and black male leadership looks like in that. With that said, I'm gonna pass the mic to you, Brother Dewan.
All right, thank you, brother Black Shark. Yeah, man. I think for the most part, the brothers covered the essentials as far as using your power tools and your wrenches and your sockets and knives and stuff like that. I can't do any more than that. But other than my perspective on this is also uh, sometimes the best defense is a great offense. And what I mean by offense, I don't mean going around shooting up nobody. I mean getting to know the people in your neighborhood, especially the young black men. I'm lucky enough to still be in a part of LA that's a black neighborhood, you know, even though that's changing. But one thing that I learned from my dad, seeing my dad do this as a child, was always acknowledge everyone around you, especially the young children walking up and down the street. You know what I mean? Make say what's up to these little kids. I mean, and these teenagers and these young men. You know, oftentimes our young men are ignored, and their humanity isn't acknowledged. And it doesn't help when their humanity is not acknowledged at school. You know, everywhere else they go, then they come home, they walking down the street to the liquor store, and the men are like that. They like Grady on Boys in the Hood. Look at you, going around shooting and killing each other. That's man, that's the last thing they need, man. Sometimes they as angry as they can look, tattoos on their face, whatever. Look them in the eye and acknowledge their humanity. What's up, young brother? You know what I mean? You ain't got to go around doing any extras, you know, with it. Just acknowledge their humanity. Because if, you know, you can have all the power tools you want if it go down. If you just angry Mr. Johnson down the street, they ain't going to listen to you. You know, so you want to provide that leadership offensively. You know what I mean? When I say offensively, I mean be the one to reach out. And yeah, I ain't saying invite them into your home. I ain't saying turn around and tell them, you know, you need to get a bunch of kids and start holding a shooting club or book club meeting. You don't need to do all that. If it leads to that, then cool. But just the basic, when you at the store, when you're around a corner, whatever you're doing, whatever you got to do, you see a young man. You know, you acknowledge his presence and his humanity, and that can go a long way in the building his internal self confidence and build and correct his perception to when it comes to the elders around us. Because one of the big mistakes that's been made over the last 40 some odd years is, you know, a lot of times is the adults always criticizing the kids, the adults always clowning the kids, the adults always having something to say about the kids, and you know that's been a major split in our community, which hurts us defensively. Because if we're split on little mundane things like that, how can we expect to all rally together when it's time to rally together? Will they even listen to you when you see it's time to rally and things are going down? They may think video games are more important, so they gotta the young folks and the other men in the community got to know that you're somebody that that they can take serious, and part of that is by being a communal person and being someone who's open to especially the young and the youth in your community. That can go a long way as far as defending the community from a lot of nonsense when things need to go down. You will be the rallying point at that point, and there won't be any questions asked. But that's all I got to say about that.
Very well spoken, brother. Very well spoken, and I appreciate you bringing up those points because you're absolutely right. Just acknowledging, especially the young black men in our community, and letting them know that somebody sees them because we see like how the black male image is just demonized and denigrated today in society. Black people, period. But when it comes to our black boys, especially, and like a lot of times, if we see them in the community, like the brother was saying, just acknowledge them, take the time to just inquire about what they have going on, offer them encouraging words. And a lot of times you never know, that might make a world of difference. I have a lot of young black men in my community that remember me from when they were kids, and they, would remember you and come to you and thank you for any type of encouragement or help that you've given them in the community. So that's a very important part of black male leadership. And I also want to encourage every black person to do this. We often see a lot of these rappers, I got to pick on them for a minute. They're always copying people with their names, copying what white folks do. They name themselves other mob bosses, all that. Well, one of the things I want to encourage our people to do in our community is like Brother Dewan B was saying, get to know the people in your community. I understand we live in different times, but we need to try to make some type of effort if we're out hanging out at somewhere that's like a local place. Get to know the brothers and just throw the idea like, hey, brother, you ever thought about us getting together and starting a community protection plan? We need to know every square inch of our communities. White folks know who come in and out their communities. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm encouraging people to get home surveillance, let me tell you something about white folks. Anybody and Black Voltron, you can attest to this. You out there in Cali and you and our brother Dewan B. You go out to Beverly Hills somewhere and just think you're going to walk around in that neighborhood over there where them affluent white folks at and see if the police don't roll up on you real quick and find what you're doing over there.
With the
You know what I'm
quickness.
saying? Yeah,
Up here in the Bay too, everything is heavily surveilled and stuff. I mean, you go to the
exactly.
rich areas, like literally from San Francisco all the way down to San Jose to Los Gatos. All these, Hillsboro, San
Mhm.
Mateo, Hills, and stuff like that. I mean, they've got massive, massive, massive amount of security and stuff, in their areas. And they see some niggas down there, they call the police. It's almost like automatically police get called, and they just right there, 2 seconds after you done walked in that neighborhood, boom. Hey, what are you doing here? You got any ID?
Mhm.
What are you doing walking here? What are you doing walking here? What are you doing walking here? They on your ass with the quickness. So you're 100% right, GBS.
And to your point there, brother, one of the things I want us to do once we get those surveillance systems in our home, compare notes about what you saw that looked odd in your community. Because see, that's a part of us protecting things. We see people or vehicles that aren't normally in that neighborhood. We never know. That could be somebody casing and looking for little black children to snatch up. Because like one of the things we know about that is organ trafficking, organ harvesting. That's very real. And if those of you in here don't know, I consider everybody in this audience and the speakers to be very intelligent. But our organs are a lot stronger than other organs. So they go for a very high price on the black market. So a lot of times, unfortunately, when little black children are going missing, a lot of these homeless people out here, that's exactly what ends up happening to a lot of them. But that being said, for everybody that's tuning in here, anybody that just came in, we're discussing the topic, as you see, black male leadership in a system of white supremacy. We covered the first topic, economics. We just got finished with community protection and black male leadership. And the next topic I'm going to go to, and I'm going to have Brother Raheem Shabazz speak on that, is the importance of black male leadership in teaching the community and our families how to stay on code. And with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, Brother Raheem.
Yeah, peace. Um, I'm just gonna piggyback off of what you said earlier. The code is the leadership. You know, as a community, we always had unwritten rules that certain things that we don't tolerate, and somehow, you know, the upcoming generation has bypassed that, and I think they need to be reminded. And the only way to remind them is that all of us become active participants in on staying on code. One of the things that we don't do or we don't go against the code is we don't commit crimes against children. That's one of the things. And another thing is that as far as the community is concerned, there's a distinction between snitching and reporting something as a civilian. And we have to be mindful of that. A lot of people say that, oh, I don't want to get involved in that. If you're a civilian, you're not snitching. Now, if you're an active participant in criminal activity, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother conversation. But I think that when we look at the code of being on code as black people, we have to understand that everybody is not going to agree with the code. And those that do need to be ostracized, because the code is not singular and it's not for one individual. We know that the choir is always louder than the soloist. And I guarantee you, if the majority of us stay on code, then others will follow suit. And it's very important that we do. We have to have an unwritten code. Um, if you look at what's happening, I'll just use the latest event. I was reading the indictment with Young Thug and Gunner, and there was several things in there I didn't know. I guess I just don't keep up with it, but they deciphered their whole gang culture from what this color means to the snaky mojo means slime and blood. And yeah, it was just like it was a learning lesson for me. I'm like, damn, how did they find out all of this? It's because they was putting out what they was doing on social media. Staying on code is not posting what you're gonna do on social media. And I think staying on code means that when we come together and we have certain talks, it's not for social media. Now, social media is a platform that we can use. We're using it right now. But certain things need to be said and need to be done off of social media. And with that, I'm going to yield the mic to the next speaker.
Thank you very much for pointing that out. And I have to piggyback on what you just said there, especially the part about protecting black children. It's hard for me to even talk about the story here because many of you probably have seen those of us in New Black Media cover it. And for those that don't know, there's this bastard named Kane Madden, and you all probably remember the name. If not, he is the son of a bitch. Excuse my language, because I'm going to try to stay composed while I'm talking about this. One of the things I take very seriously is the protection of black children. He hit this little 8-year-old black girl in the head with a shovel, and he sexually assaulted her. So what they ended up doing, for those of you that aren't aware, and that happened out there in California. In fact, the business that happened on Hale Street out there. They said that he's not competent enough to stand trial, so they basically gonna let this monster walk. So for me, I'm like this. If you gonna call yourself gang banging or anything out there, hey, this is the time to put in some work. That community justice must be rendered for that. If the courts aren't going to produce justice when they attack our children, which is an open act of war in any society, then justice has to be served one way or another. Because see, while we're talking about the black male leadership here in this discussion today, we wouldn't be worth a damn if we can just let them come in and do whatever they want to our children. Our children are our future as they are any other race, and they have to know that they're protected. And every every other group has to know that if you touch our children, there are going to be immediate consequences one way or another. We would prefer to go through the courts, but if you don't do anything, you're thinking that you're going to set some precedent that this is just going to stand, you got another thing coming. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, brother Black Voltron there, and please expound on this topic of what it means to stay on code with black male leadership and what we should do to keep our communities and our families on code.
Hey, thanks, brother GPS. On code, it's pretty simple. It's simply is black first, meaning black people first. Um, in all areas of all 9 areas of human activity that a warrior scholar, Elder Neely Fuller, has taught us. So that means in every thought, every action, every deed that we do should be on the black first, and everything we consume should be with a black first lens. Everything we see, we need to have black first filters, and we need to be looking to create, a B1 black society with foundational black Americans and non-foundational black Americans. So, first thing we need to look at is, as far as black male leadership, is who is the leader? Okay, that means it's the black man. So if the black man's the leader, that means the black man needs to be on code. What does that mean? That means everything that I do, everything that I think about, everything that I act on, everything that I participate in should be with a black first mentality. All right. And if I don't know what that is, I need to go study. you know what are our master teachers? Like I said, Neely Fuller. Another brother said, Amos Wilson, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, um, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Dr. Claude Anderson, who is still with us. you know um, and the other, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, uh, Minister Malcolm X. I mean, Brother Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan. I mean, these are all our master teachers and warrior scholars have been fighting with a B1 mentality. Black first. That means black people first. That means everything should be geared towards building, creating, and extending the black society, black nation first. Not just now, but we need to be looking, 50 years down the line, at our grandchildren. We need to be thinking 100 years down the line with our great grandchildren and great great grandchildren. We need to be thinking 500 years down the line to our descendants, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, a million years, whatever it takes. What am I doing to ensure that my descendants, that I'm creating a world that's better than the world I was? Am I making their lives better for the future, for my children, my grandchildren, and my descendants, and so on? Or am I being destructive and inhibiting their ability to not just survive, but to prosper in this white supremacist world? What am I doing to destroy the system of white supremacy, so that my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, my great great grandchildren don't have to put up with this same shit that we're dealing with? Not only here in the United States as foundational Black Americans, but throughout the world, the global system of white supremacy. Am I doing everything within my power to destroy this evil, ugly, fucked up, destroyed, destructive system of white supremacy? Or am I contributing to it by being in the go along to get along gang, cooning, being a good little stupid ass Sambo and stuff, and kissing white folks' ass? Where am I, on that scale? And we need to be reviewing and checking, not ourselves, number one, but our family members too. Friends, whoever we're in contact with, who share this ideology. Hey brother, that's kind of off code, dude. You need to check that. And we need not to be afraid to say that. But at the same time, we need to be leading by example as black men. So, am I doing everything within my power to be that example of what B1 black empowerment is? Am I following Dr. John Henry Clark's example of what it means to be a B1, not only warrior, but eventually going to be a wise elder, so we can teach these younger brothers and sisters, hey, this is what it means to be B1. So we can teach these children, hey, this is what it means to be on code Black first. Am I doing everything within my power to do that? Do they see that within me? And are they modeling my examples that I'm providing? You know, this is a very, 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 very important, I would say, primary goal for all of us, as Black men and Black women who are on code. Am I doing everything within my power? If somebody were to see my life, would I be proud to display that, just to show them, hey, this is what V1 Black empowerment looks like? Can I follow the example of Minister Malcolm X? You know, his life is an example of what to do, how to be, how to act, how to conduct myself, how to behave, around white folks and Black folks, around the white supremacist mainstream media. Do I know what to say and how to say it? Am I articulate enough? Like Brother GBS was saying, you know, am I able to communicate the Black empowerment and Black empowerment message? It's a constant building and rebuilding. It's just like we build ourselves up physically, physical fitness. Well, we're going to do the same thing with mental fitness and intellectual fitness, emotional fitness, and psychological fitness, with a B1 Black empowerment lens. That means we have to constantly, hey, I'm deficient in this area. Let me check myself. Okay, I don't know how to speak. Um, Hell, the same thing as you try any other sport. You practice at it. You train yourself. Maybe you need to go to Toastmasters and take some speaking courses, or just getting out in the public, like spaces like these, and practicing speaking. Um, you know, I know public speaking is one of the biggest fears I had growing up. I was scared to talk to anybody, and now I'm talking to several thousand people, whether it's on these Twitter spaces or maybe on Jason Black's broadcast. But I had to learn and practice that. I wasn't the most articulate person out there, but I practiced the best I could, and I trained myself. And Jason even said himself, that's what he did, and that's what Tariq has done. That's what Professor Black Truth has done. Learn from our existing, you know, people here in New Black Media how to articulate ourselves and spread the Black Empower message. And we'll get it, y'all. But it's a constant training and refining and bettering that we go through. It's not just, okay, I've got it and that's it. That's all I need to do. No, there are ways to get better. You need to practice debating, with possible white supremacists, either online or in person, or both. We need to be ready for every offensive. That means keep the B1 code on our brain 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year until we die. All right. B1 Black Empowerment on code, on code, on code, and live it, to the fullest. And I'll land on that.
Excellent points, brother. And I'll add to this. One of the things that we have to make sure that we do for those of us that consider ourselves on code to live by example, like you said, is we need to look at each one of us, each brother or sister, as that's my Black brother or sister at arms. And primarily when it comes to the men, I don't care if it's the brothers up here on this stage or the brothers in your community. We have to always try to remember that the world paints us as public enemy number one. So if I see my brother and he's struggling with something, if there, I need to check on him and see, hey brother, you good? Everything cool? Is there something that I can do? I mean, we have to have that compassion for one another because they have declared war on us. And that Black man to the left and right of me, behind me, in front of me, those are my troops. Every other group that's competing against us in this country that practices anti-Black racism, they do it as a team sport, to quote the great elder and ancestor, Dr. Francis Chris Wilson. It is a team sport. So if they have a functioning, organized code, no matter what small disagreements they have, the one thing that they do agree on is get them niggas. They all agree on that. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Brother Dewan B. And brother, would you
Hey,
please?
DBR,
Yes, sir.
I got a quick second if you won't mind me chiming in.
Yes, sir. Hey, brother Dewan, you don't mind if I let brother Sincere speak real quick before I pass the mic to you, do you, brother?
Let the brother speak, my brother.
Will do. Will do. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, brother Sincere. I'll mute.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate that, GBR. Appreciate that, brother Dwamby. I'm gonna be brief, man. Like I said, I'm in between cuts real quick. But I just wanted to add to all of the great points that y'all are making, man. Black Voltron, you just laid it out excellently with the on code mindset is and needs to be. And that is, everything that we engage in through thought, speech, and action should be to the benefit of the black body politic. You know what I'm saying? Or at the very least, not to our detriment. You know what I'm saying? And we need to be checking ourselves on that on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Um, and also, those of us who are already on that type of time, we have to come up with ways to create punishment mechanisms for people who get off code. And also, we have to be able to create reward systems, you know what I'm saying, to encourage other people to get on code. You know what I'm saying? We have to create reward systems for, like, if you just look at a simple thing like the music, we got a lot of complaints about the music that gets blasted over the airwaves and all of the ratchetness and the negative um stereotypes being perpetuated through the music and all of that. But you got brothers like myself and others who are out here making the music that is on code, you know what I'm saying? And there's no platforms, there's no outlets, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no way for that. There's no rewards for that. And so when my son see me doing my thing and he listening to Lil Durk and Lil Yachty and all these other cats, you know what I'm saying? He see them getting the rewards. He see them getting the shine. And he see what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, that's cool. You nice and all that, pops. But, you know, I wanna get rewarded for what I'm doing. I wanna see some fruits for my talents. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta put mechanisms in place for the punishment, and we gotta create systems to be able to reward, people to be able to do the right thing. And so I'll land on that.
I appreciate that, brother, and thank you. And I want to say again, I want to remind everybody that's speaking, brother Raheem, brother Black Voltron, Dewan B. Sincere, all of you that come up here and speak that have a black business or anything, put that in the jumbotron. Anytime any of you are invited to any of my spaces, you are welcome to do that. And real quickly, I have to point this out. I forgot to mention it. Two of our sisters in the black community that are at the forefront of making sure that we know how to protect and defend ourselves. Everybody in this space should know Sister Taisha Essex. Go over there and check that sister out at Tymonics.com. And there's another sister in Florida. She has a company, and these are certified firearms instructors, by the way. Skips Tactical Solutions. That's Skips Tactical Solutions. Check that out. That sister will get you right if you're down there in the Florida area. Trust me. She's a former veteran, okay, and she, trust me, if you go to her, she's going to teach you from ground zero all the way on up to being very proficient with any type of firearm, ammunition, any type of drill you need to run. And before I pass the mic to brother Dewan B and brother Leon, I see you there. We'll get you next. One of the drills that I like to run when I'm at the range or out down here in my own property down here in the country of Georgia, outside of Atlanta, I like to run what I call desperation drills as far as like improving my targeting. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, whatever the maximum capacity that your firearm holds, whether it's 15 shots, 30 shots, whatever, always try to run these types of drills. See what would happen if you only had to practice accuracy against a target with only 5 rounds, 3 rounds. See how many times that you could hit center mass, headshot, wherever. So that way, each time that you improve with just the bare minimum, now you know you are maximum effective if you got all the rounds to work with. So that being said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, brother Dewan B. Will you please tell us in your words, what does it mean to exhibit black male leadership and staying on code and teaching others to stay on code?
Thank you, brother. It comes down to the code is a living example. It's a lifestyle. It's and actually, and I don't even know how to work this jumbotron because I don't really be in Twitter spaces like that. But on my website, breakthroughas.org, I have a webinar up there communicating racism to children. A lot of times, we as adults don't know how to talk racism to our black children. And I hear this all the time. I want our children to maintain innocence, and I don't want them to know, or I don't know what to say. So I did a webinar on how to explain to children how to use day-to-day examples, how to use cartoons that they watch and TV commercials that they see and music that they listen to, how to use that as a current topic to communicate the world that they're growing up to be in. Because I think we need to start. When I look at the code and passing the code is something that we're going to really have to focus on with the children. Sometimes it takes a generation to learn things. You know, it'll be a small. There's a critical mass of us now. There was a much smaller critical mass 10 years ago. So we see was how just in 10 years, how much we've grown to get on code together. Imagine we'll be where we'll be in 10 years as we adults continue to get on code. And the children right now who are 11, they'll be 21 in 10 years. So if they're getting this stuff taught now, we're going to have a new crop, a whole new class of on-code children entering adulthood, instead of having to wait until their 20s and 30s to find out who Mimi Fuller is and Dr. Welsing. You know, not everyone got that information as children. So, you know, a lot of people didn't get that information until they got into adulthood. We can stop that right now. You know, another way I can look at it as far as being on code is just how we get down in our day-to-day conversations. You know what I mean? Always be black first. You know what I mean? Don't ever let a black kid hear your black ass say Eminem is a top favorite rapper. Hell no. Nah. You may like him, bump him when you by yourself in the car. And don't treat our music the way that country music artists treat black people. Man, I mean, don't ever tell me Luka Doncic is the best basketball player and see young black kids watching your grown black ass explain and cape for a white person. Even if you like watching them play, it can be as petty as that. I don't mind getting petty with it at all. Like, you know, white people can't be the best at a damn thing around me. You know, and that's not just with the children, that's with other black people. And then I do this other podcast that's fairly popular on YouTube called Craig Facts. Like six of us sitting around the table, seven of us. You know, we tour the country doing it live. We talking shit, you know what I mean, cracking jokes and dropping information. But I got a reputation. You'll see me on that show. You know, the other black people to get around there, and they'll be like, you know, but such and such is good too. You know, I'm like, no, no, no. If they white, they ain't shit to me. Not disrespecting them, but they never get elevated in any way, shape, or form. You know, with anyone around me. And if a black person around me comes around and says, "Hey, man, you know it's always black people. We need to do better." Check them niggas. Every time they say some dumb shit like that, do better than what? What? Do better than Daniel Holzfall? Do better than that? What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Don't let that nonsense slide around you. All these old one day we need to get together and come together ass niggas. That's always running their mouth. But the minute you talk about doing something, you know, they off doing something else. You know what I mean? These people who are off code, don't let that off code behavior ride around you. Let you be the voice. Don't be afraid. Because matter of fact, a lot of these off code cats, they ain't really got nothing in their back pocket. They ain't really got nothing back at them. They just saying what's popular. They don't even know why they saying half the nonsense that they say. So don't let none of that crap ride around you. Watch them. They'll back down. So, you know, that's how you do it. You be an example to the children. And then if you can be on code when we just have the most mundane, non-constructive conversations ever, we could be talking about whatever it is we're talking about. The black person that did it, they're the greatest of all time. And if somebody white did it, they were cool.
I agree 100% with everything that you said because we have to restore the pride in everything that our people have contributed to this society and within our own culture. Our heroes, our children's first heroes should be black. It's one thing to look at these other races and say, okay, that person was all right, or you might even admire them, but we should never put any other culture above our own because they don't do that with us. They might come to the games and listen to the music, but get them in a certain space where it starts to come down to specifics of who's the best or the greatest. They riding with their people all day. In fact, one of the things that a lot of you should pay attention to, I don't know if you all remember, but if you pay attention to soccer or boxing, you know, you can even see the racial undertones in that. I remember going back to like after what happened to our brother George Floyd, he was murdered overseas in like Eastern Europe, you know, with a lot of those soccer leagues, they had banners up mocking George Floyd. And then when it
Hey,
comes to, yeah, go ahead and speak, brother.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad because Jamal Charlo's fighting about 10 minutes from me over here in Carson, California, and I'm a boxing fan. And it's that place is gonna be so full of Mexicans talking all kind of shit to him,
Yes, sir.
especially with Canelo getting his ass whooped next week. But I was going to get tickets, but you know why? You know why I didn't get tickets? Because this Charlo motherfucker was in Deontay Wilder's mix when he was fighting Tyson Fury, talking about it ain't about racism, don't use race. He was one of those it ain't about race ass niggas. And so the minute I found out Jamal, we like Charlo, your whole base is black. What the hell are you doing? And he been tap dancing. So I had a decision to make. Am I gonna spend money with a black man that ain't on code? And one, two, do I want to deal with all them 90% racist ass Mexicans that's gonna be there in that venue? And I just decided right before you sent this invite to join this broadcast, bro, to not go. I could call Sam Watson and get tickets. That's not an issue. That's unk to me. But I'm like, the way these motherfuckers are when it comes to boxing, they know they had Charlo's name all in their mouth when Canelo got his ass like he just lost his ass to a Russian. Why he bring up this black person? They stand for their people first, and black people be the main ones caping for somebody else. And with me seeing Charlo do that action when Deontay Wilder was in this match, he went caping for white people. Part of me being on call was I can't spend another dime with a brother that's going to side with them other folks over us, especially if I'm going into a hostile environment like what's going to be happening on this fight at Showtime tonight at 6 o'clock. F that.
Absolutely, brother. And see that's a good example of how we can set punishment mechanisms in place. See, when these people that we see across these genres, whether it's sports or like singing or whatever the case may be, go off code like that, whether they say something or do something, we're like, okay, not only are we not going to support you, but we should withdraw our social capital from these people as well. Meaning that depending on the severity of the off code behavior, you become a pariah in our community. And I propose this. If you screw up so many times, then you should become a permanent pariah in our community. It should get to the point where, like, anytime that we see you, we put you in the category with Candace Owens, Jesse Lee Peterson, Clarence Thomas, Daniel Karen. I could go on and on. I'm naming, giving these coons too much shine, but you ladies and gentlemen get the point. We have to start enacting those consequences. And with that said, Brother Leon, I appreciate your patience. I want to get to you. Please introduce everybody to what state and city you're from. If you own a black business or YouTube channel or anything, feel free to plug that here. And the next topic is staying on code and black male leadership regarding that. Please tell everybody what that looks like to you, brother. I'm going to pass the mic.
All right, thank you very much for having me be able to speak. I follow many of you, and some of them I actually follow and friends with you, and like Dr. Deb and Coops and Tim some just from the spaces alone. And I'm from Pennsylvania. Actually out in the Poconos, so I'm in I would say lily white country. Yes, I am. It's only a handful of us. Well, in the area I'm at, there's only a handful of us, but we'll leave it at that. Um, I don't have a business. I work for the government. Hold on, let me get my Nigerian accent. The government. I always like doing that. I just love how it sounds. But anyway, yeah, I'm a jokester. Um, far as business, like I said, I work for the government. About to start getting into the podcast. Just finishing up my collecting my equipment. But I do a lot of spaces on here on Twitter, so just follow me and you can hear some of my spaces on different we just chop it up everything from just mainly FBA, what's going on in FBA B1. But I want to get to this topic at hand. Black Voltron, salute to you, my dude. Um, a lot of um, a lot of things that you was pressing. I was listening. You were on 100%. Um, but we also I want to go in close. We need like gatekeep. We have to start gatekeeping our own people because our own people are starting to be a detriment to us. And I'm going as and I might hurt some feelings, but we're at that stage now where you might have to hurt feelings. And I'm talking about your clergymen, especially if the ones who are off code. And a lot of these big name ones, they're off code. Then you have some of these politicians, blackface politicians, heavily off code, heavily off code. Um, some civil rights activists, heavily off code. Leadership as well, heavily off code. Um, and to like Black Voltron was saying about protecting ourselves and everything, like with Second Amendment and carrying, it's something that we need to start pushing in our agenda from here on out. We have too many of these off code bootlicks that trust the system. System has failed us every time and time again. We see it every time again. So truthfully, we really can't trust the system. So we do have to protect ourselves, and we got to stop listening to these bootlicks and start penalizing them. Because it's like when they tell us, "Oh, trust the system," um, "Oh, you don't need no weapons or anything like that." That's basically neutering the black male. Let me repeat, that is neutering the black male. And any of y'all have dogs or animals in general, y'all know what I mean by neutering. When you neuter, you literally take the life out of them. You take the fight out of them. You know what I'm saying? And it goes as well with spade for the females too. I don't want to leave y'all out, but it takes the fight out of you. So when you have these bootlicks, are worrying about uh the status quo of white supremacy or the system, and they telling you not to stand up for yourself, but in a way stand up for yourself by voting. No, 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 no. We need more than that. That's Second Amendment is good for them, it's good for us. And I heavily stand on Second Amendment. I also want y'all to take a look at the Jumbotron. I posted up I just saw this today. It's like a checklist. If y'all could do me a favor, and I'm gonna do this as well. So they ain't just I'm just not preaching to the choir. This is something I enact on myself. It's a little broad, but it gets the point. This checklist is a checklist that we need to take to every blackface politician that is in our cities, towns, who's running for U.S. Senate, who's running for U.S. Congress, and we need to vet them. And I do mean vet them, and we need to vet them hard. And if they don't align with this checkoff list that I posted in the Jumbotron, they do not get our support. Let me repeat, they do not get our support. And we have to vet them because there's too much of this coonery, bootlicking shenanigans going on, and is a detriment to us. And it really is. It's a detriment to our advancement. And we're going to have to just, what's the word? Tie your heart, tie your hearting, and Billy clubbed their fucking kneecaps out of them. I swear. I don't want to promote violence, but I'm just saying. But that's where we at. We got to start vetting them. I just had a space yesterday with this one lady. Some of y'all might have saw if y'all follow me, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a Vanessa Enoch, Dr. Vanessa Enoch, from Ohio, and I guess she's representing Cincinnati. But her district is actually only 6% black and 94% white. And she came in with all this vitriol talking about, oh, you group, we ain't no group, talking about, oh, y'all just worrying about being in the ghetto and y'all want to just gentrify the ghetto so y'all can stay in the ghetto, and just sheer disrespect. But yet she wanted to know what we were talking, what we're talking about, where our agenda was, and we wanted to ask her what were your agendas, as far as reparation and immigration and everything. And she kind of just side danced the whole thing. So, needless to say, after 4 hours of total nonsense, I actually boot her ass out, and that's what I mean by vetting. So, uh, as far as black male leadership, that's what we need to start doing. We need to start promote vetting these candidates. Hell, vet your damn clergyman. I don't care if they not aligned with you. Don't be part of their congregation. It's nonsense. So I'll just leave it at that. And thank you for again.
I appreciate those points, brother. In fact, the business now, I do remember that space that you held and that particular politician. And before we move on to the next topic, that brings me to something I want to address. with these black politicians, and definitely the clergy, like you said, that black church, some of them, not all, but the ones that it applies to, they're basically parasites, 501c3s draining money out of the community. I feel like this. If you're not going to be politically active, which we all know they say they can't be, well, then you need to be community active. If there's homeless people in your community, you need to do something to address that. When you look at Jewish synagogues, they all have a school attached to them. And I know everybody in here knows that. They can be doing that. If there's a black person that's being harassed or assaulted by a race soldier, you can contribute some of those funds to a legal defense. There's a lot that they should be doing and they're not. And if they're not going to do that, then we shouldn't even be patronizing them, and they should have to go ahead and close their doors. And to bring up that politician, Dr. Enoch, first and foremost, brothers and sisters in here, and Brother Raheem Shabazz, check your invites. I sent you another mic. I thought you were trying to get back on. But brothers and sisters, this is the thing that we have to make sure that any black politician or any politician, that for that matter, that's seeking our vote, we have to let them understand first and foremost that you are seeking to be a public servant, not a ruler. I'm going to repeat that. You are seeking to be a public servant, not a ruler. So if we're going to vet you, you don't have to like the questions. This isn't about feelings. This is about business. Politics is a business transaction. So we are going to vet you every single time, no matter who you are. You can't just adopt a slogan. You can't just follow behind someone that has already been vetted and get into the gate like our dear brother Marcel, who I'm calling Congressman Marcel. I would strongly urge all of you to donate to that brother's campaign, even if you're not in South Carolina. If you're in South Carolina, hey, give this brother a chance. Clyburn and the rest of the CBC needs to go. And actually shout out to Brother Tariq Nasheed, because he's actually looking for young politicians from across the nation that we can vet and groom and put out here, put forward with our agenda. But see, that lady, that arrogance, I actually retweeted some of her stuff that she was saying. And one of the things that I'm proposing to everybody, no matter which side of the political aisle it is that they come to us seeking our votes, they have to now produce proof of concept before you get any vote. What I mean by that is, show me what you were doing 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago in the service of black people. See, yesteryear's price is no longer today's price. Yeah, it's gone up because, see, we've given you good faith long enough and you've abused us and committed benign neglect to the point now with this democratic party, as I call them, they're committing malevolent neglect, giving every other group tangibles except for us, and then coming back to us with symbolism. I'm gonna say something to you, ladies and gentlemen, right now. I'm talking mostly to black men, so apologies, sisters, for not letting you speak. I want to talk to the men this time. There will be another space coming up sometime in the future where you will get to chime in as well. But when it comes to us, brothers, we have to be out front and letting them know that this dog ain't gonna hunt in our community. You're going to give us tangible policies like you gave every other group, and you're not going to use us as a stepping stool. And for any candidate that's running, you will not be afraid to say the word black and black only. That is what you are going to use. We are not going to be something that is a dirty little secret, because I'm like this. If you are afraid to mention black, if you're afraid to say black amongst us, how are you worthy to represent us against these people who are majority white that are running things? You are unworthy of leadership. So this is what we're going to have to do when it comes to vetting people in the black grassroots. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get to this last topic here. And I know the sisters will probably really want to chime in on this one. But again, ladies, I want to get black men's thoughts on this. I will host another one of these maybe in the next week or so as time allows me. But the last topic here I want to bring up, and as usual, I will start with Brother Raheem Shabazz, rejecting gender war mentalities. Now, before I pass the mic on this, I will reiterate, there is a way to talk to our women and our sisters about off-code behavior, or not even just off-code behavior, but just anything that may come up in general in the community where we have differences. So if we know that we're all we got and every other group operates against us, when we're having these discussions, we need to do so first with respect, and we need to also keep in mind that black children, black youth are watching us. Everything we do, as many of the speakers already brought up over here, we're to set the example for them. So the example that we set can either be good or bad. So with that said, Brother Raheem Shabazz, I would like you to chime in on the importance of black male leadership in rejecting a gender war mentality.
Yeah, the gender war that is created is nothing new. If we go back to the feminist movement, we know that that was the first time that they started with their a gender war, right? And if we look at it, what's going on today, we see that it's a narrative that's being painted by mainstream media, but in black society, you really don't see that. Me personally, I see black men and black women raising their family. We do have those who are off code, and they fall under that narrative of the gender war. And then we have those that are non-FBA from the diaspora. They carry on with their divestment movement, but overall, there really is no gender war. Now there's a gender for a gender war, and I think we have to push back by that by supporting our sisters, showing them that there's love, that black love is revolutionary, and there's no need for you to divest from a black man because there is no other race or group of people that's going to treat you with the love and the compassion and the understanding that a black man can treat you with. So I just think that we got to be forever mindful that we are the holders, the keepers of ourself and our predicament, and it's up to us to raise the flag and say, you know what? Black love is revolutionary. We love our sisters. We support our sisters. And we're going to protect our sisters. And more importantly, we're going to respect them. So there's really no gender war as far as I see it. But there is, like I said, there is a segment of society that is pushing it. Now, I did see some. I'm gonna have to be truthful and transparent. I did see some people that I highly respect that was creating this narrative about you know, uh, brother Samuels that recently passed, and it was very unfortunate, and it was almost like a gender divide online. Although there were some sisters that was supporting what he said in his movement, and what I was trying to tell people, because I didn't listen to him, I wasn't a fan of his, but nevertheless, he had a voice, and he was saying what was his opinion. But us as melanated people and staying on code, when it's someone that transitioned to the other side that you don't agree with, no one's asking you to mourn their death. But one thing that we should not do is celebrate it because I don't see y'all celebrating the death of a lot of these colonizers and Neanderthals. So don't do it to the black brothers and don't do it to the black sisters. And with that, I'm gonna yield the mic.
Thank you very much for those points, good brother. And yes, you know what? I'm glad you actually brought up the Kevin Samuel subject because it's very complicated. And actually, I may hold a space on that at a later date because what we're seeing is like, okay, we had some people that agree with what the brother said, some disagreed. And one thing I strongly do agree with is we should not be celebrating the man's death. He said a lot of very egregious things, and a lot of people are trying to rewrite his history. So one of the things that I would like everybody to do is always speak in truth with it. And then, like you said, there's some that did not completely watch him or didn't understand where he came from. That black manosphere space is very problematic for a lot of reasons. But that being said, I can't say that I disagree with everything Kevin Samuel said. I just disagree mainly myself. Just speaking for me, I disagree mainly with his stances regarding race and white supremacy. A lot of what the brother was speaking on, a lot of times he was seeing black society through white society's eyes. I mean, there's a very complex history to that, brother. But one of the things I will say, as we save that for another space, is yes, I don't agree with celebrating a man's death. I mean, that's not cool to do that at all. You know, like I said, he has a mother and other people, and even though some say that you get what you dish out, that's still not, very tasteful, especially to see our women do it. I understand why they're doing it. I get it, but that's still not the right thing to do, especially for me. I always look at black women as the moral compass of our society, believe it or not. Even though we have some sisters that are not representing that very well, the average sister is a good sister. I love my black women. I am not going to put any other woman above them. I don't care what anybody else thinks. If I'm going to be in this fight, I'm going to be in it with somebody that has my shared history and someone that understands my soul from a perspective that only a black woman could. We're the only ones that can understand each other, like the brother was saying. And with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to Brother Black Voltron, and please do speak on the importance of rejecting the gender war mentality, because I agree there is no real gender war in the black community, but we see online these gender war mentalities. We have to treat these online spaces as very important opportunities for us to get together and have constructive conversation. Even if we disagree, there's a way to do it in respect. And that doesn't mean that you're somebody's enemy if you disagree with them, especially if it's nothing harming the community. If it's just an ideology, that's fine to disagree on an ideology. We don't have to point at that person, okay, you didn't agree with every single point of what I said. Now you're the enemy. Nah, that's not how we do that. We better than black people, and we need each other a lot more than that. We don't have the luxury of getting into a gender war mindset. We're at the socioeconomic bottom in this community, where every other anti-black racist group circling us like vultures, waiting to pick us off. So, with that said, brother Black Vulture, would you please speak on the importance of rejecting the gender war mindset in our community?
Um, let's take it to the jumbotron first. Number one, I want to direct you to the pictures and from Twitter that I put up from this white supremacist racial, irregular race soldier who went on basically a cow ridden shooting spree and murdered a bunch of black people. And I want you to take a look at the black people he murdered. He murdered black men and black women. All right, look at it, get a good look of it. Don't run, don't hide. Look deep into them pictures and see that could have been your wife, your husband, your father, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your uncle, your auntie, your child, your daughter, your son. It could have been any one of your cousins, all right, in your family. This is a white supremacist killing everything black, everybody black, all right? He didn't give a fuck about your gender. You were just a nigger that needed to be exterminated, all right? Also, I wanted to look in the jumbotron. I put up the information for Skip's Avery Skipless, Skip's Tactical. I put her Twitter up there so y'all can help her out. And if you down there where she's at, get get together with her and figure out what you're gonna do. I did the same thing with Sister Taisha Essex Twitter page. She's there. She gives firearm training too. So that's two sisters right there who are looking out for the self defense of our B1 Black community. All right. Also, I put up Redstone Firearms. All right, for the brothers and sisters out here on the West Coast in California. Even though Redstone is down in Burbank, I plan to do the I-5 drive, as Brother Beatzilla already knows. Do that I-5 drive to go all the way down to LA, basically, to do my firearms training. Why? Because we don't have one out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So it's that important that we stay on code. And it's run once again by a sister and a brother, a black man and a black woman, Jonathan and Geneva Solomon. All right. We don't have time for this goddamn gender war, y'all. I mean, I'm a black father that's raising and has raised a black daughter. All right, who gives a fuck about the gender war? We are niggas to this white supremacist society. Getting caught up in that gender war, is stupid. All right. Number one, it drains energy from the overall purpose of black empowerment. Um, being focused on women's that, men's this is actually, tertiary to our overall focus of what are we trying to do to bring black empowerment to black people here in these United States and eventually around the world, and how do we defeat white supremacy? It's going to take both of us. All right, sisters, please stop getting caught up in what the white mainstream media is telling you. Oh, sister girl this, sister girl that. Where are the bisexuals, to discuss what's happening with this latest murder? What are they gonna say about this white supremacist? All of us need protection, federal protection from these white supremacists, just like the Asians got, just like the Afghans got, Ukrainians, um, Native American, Alaskan, Pacific Islanders, Hawaiians. Um, that means black men and women. If you are still out here gender warring on May 14th, 2022, you need your fucking head examined. That means women and men. The fuck is wrong with you? All right. It don't matter if woman or man, gay, straight, LGBT or whatever. They hate you because you're black. They kill you because you're black. They discriminate you because you're black. You black first to these white supremacists. That's it. Don't nobody give a fuck about, your pronouns. Fuck your pronouns. It's all about this black empowerment. All right? I say it again. Fuck your pronouns. That is that is not an issue when it comes to defeating this system of white supremacy. And it's a system. We need all of our brothers and sisters to be focused on defeating the system of white supremacy. Period. All right. Getting online, fighting with a bunch of divestors and shit. Okay, it's cool every once in a while, but let's be real. That drains energy, time, and sometimes money that could be used constructively to, defeat the system of white supremacy. Learn about the system of white supremacy. You brothers in these manosphere spaces and stuff, nigga, man up. Let me say it again, nigga, man the fuck up. All right, quit crying like a little bitch. All right. Oh, I ain't getting no cooperation from the females. Nigga, is a reason why. You ain't got no job. You ain't trying to better yourself. You slovely as a motherfucker. You raggedy as a goddamn roach. You know, the fuck is wrong with you, nigga? Why should a woman get with your raggedy motherfucking ass? You broke, no job, no education, no trade skills, no type of anything that can benefit the rest of black B1 black society. Why should somebody give two fucks about it? And most importantly, you can't even take care of yourself. How the hell are you gonna take care of a woman, let alone a child? Nigga, please. Nigga, please. Nigga, please. You weak. You raggedy. You fucked up. They shouldn't. And as a father, I'll be damned. I told my daughter, don't you bring no raggedy nigga home to me. Don't you bring no block roster home to my house. No fucked up ass nigga who can't do for himself, ain't trying to better himself. You know, I will clown that nigga. Straight up. I don't give a fuck where he from, what block he from. Fuck him. If he ain't about business, if he ain't about building, if he can't do anything for you, well, himself, let me repeat that. If he can't do anything for himself, how the hell is he gonna do something for you? And you trying to build with him? You trying to be? He can't take you. Only the thing he can do is take you out to McDonald's and Burger King. Because white man keeping him down. He can't better himself. You better run from that nigga. Put your track shoes on like you've been trained. Put them spikes on, and you better run that 400, 800 meter dash and get the fuck away from him. Fuck him. You know. That's in jest and stuff. I got jokes, but seriously, If a nigga can't do nothing for you, how is he gonna do? How is he gonna build anything? If he has no roots, no foundation, no type of intellectual capacity to think where he's at. Hey, I'm here. I need to go here. How do I get there? You know, the fastest point between a straight line. And then I want to bring somebody to build with me. If he can't do that, what purpose does he have? Answer: he doesn't. You need to drop him like a goddamn bad habit and find one that does. What does he look like, Daddy? Look at your father. How many times did I sacrifice for you? How many double and triple shifts, quadruple shifts was I working? Why did I do that? Why did I protect and provide for you? Because I love you. All right. You should be finding the same thing in a man. That man is looking out for you, protecting and providing for you, is capable of taking care of you and, you know, three, four, five children. That's the one you need to hitch your wagon to. If he treats you right and loves you for who you are, that's the one you need to be with. Talking about the black man, don't bring no swirlings. There's no swirling zone within this family. Okay, black man. Most importantly, does he have a black empowerment mindset? So is he willing to build and learn and get to a black empowerment mindset? I know he's young, and y'all young folks, you know, it's gonna take a while to learn things, just like I did when I was your age. But damn it, I'll be damned if you bring some weak ass nigga who just about to rig him, you know, the he said she said neighborhood highlights. Only thing he cares about is money, hoes, and clothes. And you gonna bring him to my family? Nigga, be gone. I'm gonna spray some nigga be gone spray on that nigga. Be gone. Okay, we don't have time for the ignorance, you know, within black society. We do not have time. You know, it's critical right now. I mean, as you see that I posted that, you know, white supremacists are killing us. Let me repeat that again. White supremacists are killing us because we're black. We don't have time for this goddamn gender war, y'all. All right. End this shit in 2022. Let this shit go. All right. If people want to swirl, let them live their Chad Wheeler experiences. Okay. Let them be hanging from a rope and stuff. You know, black men ain't shit. You know, I'm gonna give me a white man. Go get that nigga. Go get that white boy. All right. When you're hanging from a rope, don't have your family come over and ask for you know, some type of sympathy and care. Fuck you, bitch. The same thing for the bed bugging niggas. All right. Becky's so good for you, you know. That white girl so luxurious that you love, and we ain't shit as black Americans or as black people in general, nigga, get the fuck out. And when you get chopped up and get your head blown the fuck off, you know, deuces to you. And don't bring your punk ass family over to say anything. Fuck you, nigga. You know, swirling nigga, fuck you. Stay the fuck away from us, you know. We are circling the wagons. Be one black empowerment. Black men, black women, black children. Period. And I'm gonna land on that.
Very well spoken, brother. I agree 100% with what you just said. And see, when it comes to that, when it comes to like the men particularly, because that's one of the primary reasons I held this space to address the men's perspective on this. A lot of those guys in those different spaces where these guys that they're listening to have been in unfortunate situations with women. And, you know, as long as we live, we're going to experience that as men, but we don't let that dominate our complete life experience with the opposite sex. You learn from it, you process it, you move on and learn how to pick and vet better. You don't sit there and let that be where you stay in life, because in order to keep living, we have to keep learning, and life does not stand still. You can choose to, and it will pass you by. And a lot of those guys, I almost feel some type of sympathy for them, because they will get into these little He-Man woman haters clubs and just sit there espousing all types of vitriolic hatred for black women based off their poor decision making, because they were judging off superficial qualities, and they let that blanket all other black women. I cannot sit here and co-sign that kind of behavior, because I know too many good black women. Many of them I have worked with online, offline, those in my family, those sisters that I have met going to different black empowerment events. I'm not turning my back on my sisters. I don't care how hard-headed some of y'all could be. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Like Bernie Mac used to say, I'm going to work it out with my sisters one way or another. And then for those that you can't work it out with, okay, I'll tell you what my grandparents and my parents taught me. Sometimes you're just not compatible with someone, so you send that person back to their family as they came to you in good health. Sometimes you weren't meant to be together. As far as like anything intimate, sometimes you might have been in situations where you find out you wasn't supposed to be together in a relationship, but that might be a person that you're good friends with. Brother Dewan B did an excellent program addressing some of that. And if you haven't subscribed to this brother's YouTube channel, you need to. And speaking of that, I'm gonna pass the mic to you, brother. What are your thoughts on black male leadership as far as us rejecting the gender war mentality? Because we know it's not a real thing, but that mindset has to go. Please speak on that, brother.
Really, it just comes down to being direct when it comes to addressing it. We as black men since the '70s been sort of taking a nap, and while we've been taking a nap, we've allowed Gloria Steinem and all these Oprah, Steve Harvey, and all these Derek Jacksons to get up in these women's heads and lie to them, preachers, Creflo Dollars, and the pimps of Sunday. We allowed them to really get up, and as men, we would sort of just sit back and look at it and kind of laugh at it, but we wouldn't really say anything. And so it's sort of been normalized for us to just sit back and take whatever abuse is thrown to us. And so that was the one thing I agree with Kevin Samuels on, as far as being able to speak out and talk against and talk back to it. But the problem with him was that a lot of his followers, it became some kind of a cultic thing, and it can't be that. It can't be no, we just hate women. This is down women. They're down women. These manosphere niggas, they still drink their milk with two hands. You know what I mean? These cats ain't ready. So, we gotta let them know, if you into that, hey, whatever game you got from them, yes, whatever issues he pointed out that you agree with, cool. It got to go from being a basher's party to let's just really talk this out. And I would hope that the ladies can have an open ear and understand that sometimes men may speak a little bit harshly. We do have to, as men, know how to approach women with the tone that they can receive it in. But at the same time, when important things need to be said, sometimes it always can't be said in a pretty manner. So that's where the black woman, no matter how it's said, she's still gonna have to open her ear up at some point. And let this be about business. Business is solving the problem. When we have these math equations in school, you have a quadratic equation. You have something that requires a Pythagorean theorem to use to solve the problem. You don't sit back and complain about the problem. This problem's got too many x's and too many y's. Why can't I just solve for y? You didn't do that. No matter how complicated the problem was, you set your emotions to the side and you solve the problem. And that's where we have to be with the mindset. We have to know that we've had these outsiders infiltrate our community and start speaking for us through so-called black publications. You know what I mean? We got to know that we haven't, with black men and black women, we haven't really sat down and talked to each other for real in about 60 years. And, that's just the cold hard truth. All of these publications got them folks approving what happens, what gets said, and what doesn't get said. So a lot of what men really want and really expect, there are a lot of women out there that aren't quite clear on that. My wife and I, we have these conversations all the time. You know what I mean? Where the women are thinking it's one thing and the men are thinking it's something else, and then you get these jokesters that come around and play on that and give you just a little bit of hint of truth, and then follow it with a mound of bullshit. And that's just been the hustle for the last 50 years. So we got to know that we've been hustled, and we got to just really talk to each other. And we got to do it in a loving way. I mean, brothers, we can learn how to say things in a more precise manner that gets to the point, leaving the emotion out of it. Ladies, you get better at listening to, if the brother does say something that where he feels passionate about, you can still hear what he's saying, because when we talk about these things, sometimes it's coming from a lived experience, and it may be a little bit of passion behind what we say. So we just got to know that it's all about business. You know what I mean? Let's cry our river. Let's put it all on the table. We all been screwed over, yada yada yada, and let's just solve the problem and stop the nonsense.
Very well put, brother. And that's one of the things that we have to point out to young black men, especially, that It is our job and it should be our role to always take pride in being a problem solver. That is the bedrock of black manhood because that is how we learn to build things. That is how we learn to teach the next generation to build things. That is how we learn how to teach black children in a household if they're in a household with two black parents. Okay, we need to let them see. Okay, if your mother and father are arguing, how does your father go about handling that dispute on his end? How does your mother listen to what he's saying or go about checking him if he's wrong? Because see, for me, the problem with the spaces like the Black Manosphere, where and I gotta touch on this because I'm gonna have to put my 2 cents into that too. I watched Kevin Samuels, so if I ever had a critique of him, I wouldn't be doing it from a dishonest place. And one of the things that really pissed me off about his passing was a lot of the white men that he respected and shouted out like Tom Likas started shitting on the man. They're still doing it too. He's just one. So I'm saying that to say this to the brothers that might be in here that are in those Black Manosphere spaces. We as black men and women have not a damn thing in common with the dominant society's men and women. They are at the socioeconomic top. We are at the socioeconomic bottom. Therefore, our issues are going to be different with our men and women. They were in the ones that enslaved us. They look at us a different way, the dynamic, but in the problems between white men and white women are nothing remotely close to what we deal with one another as black men and black women. So there's nothing a white man has to teach me about my women. Sisters, there's nothing a white woman can tell you about how to deal with us as black men. They don't know us and they despise us by and large. And unfortunately, we have to have some that end up like Christian Obumseli that get with that white woman. And then when she loses her temper, the first thing she's thinking about is trying to harm you, even if it's not physically. The one thing that a lot of the bed bugs don't realize is that white woman that you with, she got more power than you in the system of white supremacy in America. Just her word or her tears can get you locked up or killed. And for like on the other end of it, sisters, when you go into those relationships with Zaddy, you have to look at Zaddy's history. If you're at the top of the socioeconomic food chain from a racial aspect, and you're used to getting what you want all the time, the minute that y'all have problems, he's not looking at you like another black man would, that are one with sense. I'm not covering the dusty niggas out there because we got some disgraceful Negroes in our community. Same with some of the women. But usually, if you have two normal-minded black people that have an average dispute in a relationship, there's still love there. There's still love there. So I'm going to deal with you in a way where love is present. Even if I have to cool down and walk off, I'm going to approach it from a place of love. Now, the thought is never going to cross my mind to kill you, kill the kids, and kill myself, like Zaddy is prone to do. So that's something that I would encourage these sisters to make sure you keep in mind when you hop that fence. You have to understand that this man, 9 times out of 10, when they get with either of us, black men or black women, they view us as fetishes. They don't view us as human souls with living and breathing feelings or what have you. And they're not connected to our history of pain. These people are our oppressors. And you will find if you're going to go outside your race, I don't advocate the swirling, but you would do better to pick any other group except for that one. And that being said, B Zilla, brother, I'm going to pass the mic to you. And I would like you to speak on the importance of black male leadership and rejecting the gender war mentality. And brother INT, I'm going to get you last here. And as we wrap up, I'm going to have all the business owners in here, that are speaking today, plug your websites, YouTube channels, and what have you. With that said, Brother B. Zill, if you're ready, would you please address the topic?
Man, first off, brother, you just don't know, man. For y'all who don't know, this is just a pleasure to me. It's a few weeks before my birthday, and I get to hear a live space from the Great Black Shark. For those of you who are new in these spaces, y'all might not be aware, but I would advise you strongly to go back into the history and archives of this brother right here, Great Black Shark, who has always been a solid comrade in this black empowerment endeavor. And I just man, I'm like a kid in a candy store today hearing this brother speak on the mic once again. You also knew y'all didn't even know he's a content creator. And that's a damn shame. But nonetheless, black first, everybody. Black first, everybody. Black first, everybody. Shout out to everybody up on this panel. Um, of course, Great Black Shark, brother Raheem Shabazz, a brother to whom I've been aware of for so long. Shout out to my brother Maitland from Brooklyn, Black Voltron, and Dewan B. and Sincere. Man, this panel is dope. So, okay, shout out to everybody. I just need to get the protocol out the way. With the leadership and the way that we need to look at these gender wars, number one, let's tap back into ourselves and understand the black man naturally loves the black woman. I'm an alpha male, so for me, I love pheromones, and pheromones have always been the ticket for me. And so, with that being said, it it should spark something in a man to say, this is the woman I want to protect. I want to have further children with this woman, and I want to build this family and defend this family because this is where I see my future and my legacy. So I just want everybody to understand, man, when you get an opportunity to what I consider reinventing yourself or remaking yourself through the act of childbirth, man, that's for me, that's the greatest thing ever. And with that being said, it should be defended, protected, and through every aspect. Um, we have so many things coming at us through these outside entities that want to disrupt and destroy our family units and destroy our concepts of one another. So it starts with a gender war because how do you prevent procreation? By getting the black man and the black woman to hate one another. I understand fully that people didn't always agree with Kevin Samuels. Um, and even me and Great Black Shark definitely had conversations about the brother before, but not publicly dissing the brother because maybe somebody was getting something. And this is the thing we have to really, as black folks understand. We have to learn to sift through the bones because the rest of the world has sought to pile on us. When you are a people that builds a country and builds economic wealth for an entire planet, no one wants you to come into your own. So one of the things that come into our own is just repairing the relationships between man and woman. And so they put every roadblock possible in between us reconciling our differences. You always got to be mindful of that. And the one thing I would always say between black men and black women, the biggest thing to protect our unity and protect our future is literally, realistically understanding men through 300 years of slavery, women through 300 years of slavery. Our relationships were absolutely under attack, and we both have a common enemy. They don't love you. They definitely don't love us. And so we have to make, I guess the thing is, rebuilding the trust barrier between black men and black women for them to understand. We had to be conquered. Y'all generations down the line. We are generations down the line. But trust me, Do you really seriously think, sisters, that this level of alpha male on this stage and panel right now would allow you to be harmed if there was breath drawing from any of these individuals? My wife knows for a fact. I have a motto in my house. It'll be me first. It will be me first. The only reason that something happened to my family is because every ounce of living blood has been drawn from my body. This is the attitude and spirit to which we have to have, protecting first our families, second our communities. And so I would say, do not just be over emotional, but understand the passion and the benefit of loving yourself, loving your own, and loving how you can create a legacy for your community. And man, with that, I'm gonna land my plane. I just wanted to say my little piece. I so appreciate it, and I'm elated that I get a chance to hear Great Black Shark once again, man. This is great. I'm enjoying it, and I'm gonna fall back to a listener and just enjoy all this great alpha male protector, guarders of the gate and the temple energy, man, that's on this stage. Shout out to all y'all brothers up here. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Black first.
Thank you very much for those points, good brother. And you're always welcome anytime I host a space when I do have time to host them. And, you know, as the brother said before I pass the mic to our brother INT Righteous and get ready to wrap up here. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in. And ladies, no disrespect. I was just trying to have this conversation from the black male perspective. You all will have a chance to speak in further other spaces. And, you know, the thing about what he was saying there about our emotions, about our passion. First thing I want people to understand is emotions are energy, okay? And just like, you know, electricity that's running through an extension cord, when it's channeled through something, it's very useful, okay? It powers a lot of things. So that's the same thing with our emotions. Our passion is a beautiful thing between us as black men and black women. It builds nation. It inspires us to do wonderful and great things. There's so much history on just a lot of things that were built off the inspiration of black men loving their women, okay, and vice versa, all black women loving their men. So this is one of the things I want to speak on before I pass the mic to Brother INT Righteous. Brothers and sisters, I want you to take a look in the mirror after you get off this space and just appreciate yourself. Appreciate yourself, because understand something. One of the reasons why there is so much vitriolic and vindictive hatred and anti-black racism against us from these other groups, they actually do admire what we have because they cannot duplicate it. There is no other love on the planet that is as strong as the love between a loving and caring black man and a black woman. And then the one thing that burns them up, particularly the dominant society, which is why we have to make sure we take our defense and protecting our community very seriously, their numbers are on the decline. Now, I'm not an overly religious person, but I am a spiritual person. Now, I think they're getting their just due for all the unrighteousness that they have wreaked havoc across the entire globe. They are the world record holders of genocide. Our people are a people of love. We have good and bad in every community, but for the most part, even if we were somehow tomorrow to be switched over into their position, we would not even think to commit some of the atrocities that those like Christopher Columbus committed when the British came down there and cut the breasts off women and made pouches of them and dug holes in the sand and put black babies in them up to their heads and kicked their heads off. Oh, this is real history. Y'all can look this up. But, you know, this is why we have to reject that gender war mentality, because we are a great people together. OK, there's no other woman that's made for us. There's no other man that's made for the black woman. We have to reinvest in loving each other and looking at it from a standpoint of like, no matter what problem that arises that it's something that we can solve together because we were meant to, and because little black children are looking at us to see what love is supposed to be between black men and black women. So with that said, brother INT Righteous, would you please step up and introduce yourself, what city and state you're from, and speak to the topic of what is the importance of black male leadership in rejecting the gender war mindset?
Good evening to the family. Thank you for sharing the platform with me. My name is, the people call me Righteous, but my name is Joshua Jackson. In 2024, I'll be looking to challenge Sheila Jackson Lee for her seat in office. We are in the infancy stages of our strategy. So any help in the room, any advisory in the room would be greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you for your time. As far as black male leadership, I want to say 2 points. One, I want to commend us as black men for one, getting to this point where we are open and we can have these conversations and be receptive to each other. And secondly, I just want to commend us for our resolve. We've been demonized a lot, and we've still fought and strive to be honorable and have a last name that's worthy of something. You know, dealing in business, doing business upright, having discipline, self-improvement, things of that nature, not giving up on ourselves. So I want to kind of take the time to pat ourselves on the back for that. The next thing I would like to say is you guys touched on emotionalism, not having that, but also be open to mentorship. Shout out to Great Black Shark, man. He's been showing me some mentorship, man, and I really appreciate it. And to my knowledge now, you've been mentoring me more than I've known, so I'll expound on that with you later. Shout out to Black Voltron, man. The way you drop truth and then bring it back to accountability on our part. That makes town business our business, and I'm all for that. So, like I said, out here in Houston, Texas, based. Any information, anybody that would like to link up with me, I'm open to it. And as for myself, I am a reparationist. I believe our business needs to be forefront on the table, and I'm open to like discussion. So with that said, thank you guys again for your time, and I appreciate you. I land my plane there.
Thank you very much, brother. And I advise all of you to go and follow this young brother because, as Brother Tariq was saying, it's time for us to reclaim our position in this country with dignity and raise up the next young generation of black men and women that's going to get that CBC out the way. It's time for them to go. They've had long enough to represent our people, and they've betrayed us by getting comfortable and just having theirs and not even thinking about the next generation like this young brother, the generation behind him, because those of us who are Gen Xers, especially like I am, and the millennials behind us, I'm confident that between Gen X and the millennials that are on code, we're going to get this done, brothers and sisters. It's not some far off goal. And a lot of people tend to think that when it comes to reparations or whatever we're fighting for, that it's some distant, long off thing. I don't see it that way. Because, see, the more of us that get on code and operate together to get something done without any type of foolishness like gender war or what have you, just look at our history of what happens even when a small number of us do that. So with that being said, I would like to pass the mic around to each and every one of the speakers still remaining. And our brother Dewan B had to run, but please go and check out his YouTube channel by the name of Dewan B. Incense and Ashtrays is what he hosts. That go and look that up, incenseandashtrays.com, I think it is. And with that said, our brother Raheem, tell him about your documentary work. Tell him about anything you're working on. Same thing for you, Brother Black Voltron. And our brother Sincere, if you're listening, please do so as well.
Yeah, peace, black family. For those that are interested in the documentary series, there's a 3-part documentary. The first one is Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. The second one is Elementary Genocide, Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. And the third one is Academic Holocaust. You can get those at elementarygenocide.com. You also can get it on Amazon. You also can screen it as well if you don't want to purchase a DVD. As far as my clothing line, it's called Wingy Apparel. And wingi is a Swahili word that means abundance. And the motto of our company is, if you have it in abundance, it's always good to give, because no one went broke from giving. And if you want to follow me on social media, everything is at Raheem Shabazz on all platforms. And if you want to listen to me talk about black empowerment, you can tap in to our podcast. It's called Necessary Blackness Podcast. And I'm going to yield the mic to the next speaker.
I'll
All
go
right,
bring.
brother Black. Yeah, go ahead, brother Sincere.
Yes, indeed. Sincere love to God. Once again, I want to thank you, brother, for hosting the space. Got to do more like this. Definitely productive conversation. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can check me out, man. I'm at Sincere Love to God on all social media platforms. I'm most active on Instagram. If you want to follow me at Sincere Love to God, and my YouTube channel, where me and my sister nyctegur got the podcast, the weekly podcast, where we have these type of discussions on a weekly basis. And like I said, we do the Black Business Showcase, usually Wednesdays and Thursdays, where we bring on different entrepreneurs and business owners. And so that's on my YouTube channel, Sincere Love to God, as well. Um, Also, if y'all want to check out the music, I'm a hip hop artist as well. Y'all want to check out the music, y'all could just type my name in any of your favorite streaming services. We got the album, me and my brother DJ RP Beats, we got the album The Spear and the Shield. Y'all could go check that out. And the latest single that we just dropped called The Plandemic, that's streaming right now on all platforms as well. And sincerelovetogod.com will bring you to all of those things. Y'all could get the merch, you know what I'm saying? All of that good stuff. So yeah, check me out. Peace to the family.
All right, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you rendering your time here, as do I all the speakers that tune in and everybody that was down in the audience listening. Because when anytime that I host a space, I want to do it from a constructive place, a place of love. And, even if you come up and disagree with certain things, we're going to set a standard over here for, we might have people that's diametrically opposed on a number of issues that we can discuss it in a civilized fashion. Because, see, that's one thing that white supremacy does not want to see us do. We supposed to be the group in America that's the biggest spenders, but always confused about how to interact to combat white supremacy, or just how to interact with each other. And as long as they keep us confused in that state of mind, they win every time. So I'm going to do my part with whatever I do to change that narrative and try to get us accustomed to communicating with each other from spaces of love, whether we disagree or agree. And that being said, Brother Black Voltron, do you have anything you want to promote, brother, as we get ready to wrap up?
Not really. I'm just here, just on these new Black media spaces and stuff. You can find me on Twitter right here as Black Voltron Reloaded. Same thing on Instagram, Facebook. I'm at Voltron Black, and yeah, I'm just here to help the new Black media, help advance Black empowerment, and help to destroy the system of white supremacy worldwide. So thank you, brother Great Black Shark, for having me, and I want to thank the panelists, Dwan B, um, IG Raheem, Sincere Love God, uh, INT Righteousness. Thank you, brother. Thanks for coming through, and brother B Zilla PDX, my West Coast brother, I5 to the fullest, and yeah, let's keep doing more of these. This is very, very. I found this live stream very, very, very constructive. And just as a side note, before I leave, I want to direct everybody to the jumbotron, and I posted some pictures of the shooter in Buffalo, the supermarket shooting. Not only of the black people that were murdered by these vile white fucking supremacists, but look what he had on his iron sights of his AR-15. He had the word nigger. Um, that wasn't a black man, a black woman, a black gay woman, a black gay man, a black trans man. It was none of that shit. They looked at you as nigger. And also direct yourself to The other pictures I posted and the other tweets I posted, he also put the 14 words on the barrel hound of his AR-15, and that stands for um, the white supremacist motto that they always say to themselves. Quote, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children." I want y'all to think about that for a moment. Let me repeat that again. The 14 words that all white supremacists go by. This is their code. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. All right. They're looking to exterminate all black people because we are a direct genetic threat to them. You know, if you want to find out more, read our Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's book, The ISIS Papers, and her other work on how these white supremacists are definitely afraid of us because they fear genetic annihilation from us. So they're looking to murder every single one of us, specifically the black man, because we hold the genetic material that will get rid of them. If we were to push that agenda. And I want everybody to think, what does black empowerment means? That means for us, we must secure the existence of our people, black people, and a future for our black children. All right? That's all of us worldwide, people. Every single time you see these white supremacists out here, whether it be microaggressions from somebody just fucking with you at a supermarket in line to this rabid white supremacist extremist right here, who's just mowing down black people left and right because he can, to the race soldier police and the coon and their pet coons. I want you all to think about, what are we trying to do as black empowerment to secure the future of our people and our black children. All right. We don't have to get mad. We talked about emotion. We got to have emotional intelligence. Don't get mad. Get to work. All right. It's better to be prepared instead of being scared. All right. Re-listen to this broadcast, which I'm sure Brother Great Black Shark is going to repost. And let's post it on social media so we can bring more brothers and sisters into this space. And think about, what can I do? What have I done for Black empowerment? What have I done for my family to promote Black empowerment within my family in all 9 areas of human activity, according to our brother Neely Fuller. And let's get to work and get busy. All right. We don't have to keep arguing. Don't have to have a gender war. We don't even have to argue, with these off code, FBA, non FBA, Sambos, and Coons. All we got to do is just get busy, put in the work, and continue to work until the day we die. And then if we are worthy for our genetic lineage to pass on into the future, then we have done our jobs. If not, then we'll go extinct. I know for myself, I know for the brothers and sisters on this panel and in this room, that ain't gonna fucking happen. Not now, not ever. So let's keep doing what we're doing, and I look forward to the next space. Be one to the fullest, everybody. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody's time, and I appreciate everybody that showed up to listen. I'm definitely going to leave this up. It was recorded, so you all can play it back and share it if you found it constructive and got anything out of it. So as I get ready to close, there's some broadcasts that I want to direct everybody in the room to review if you haven't already, or if you've already checked them out. Please go back and listen to them again at your leisure. They're very relevant to our situation here today, dealing with these white supremacists, as our brother Black Voltron posted that terrible information, that terrible tragedy up on the Jumbotron that happened to our people. One, I would advise you all to go and check out the Black Authorities broadcast on the 5 Steps to Nazi Germany. Now, again, check out the Black Authorities YouTube channel and look up the broadcast, The 5 Steps to Nazi Germany. Along with that, go look up our brother Tariq Radio on YouTube and type in ethnic cleansing. Again, that's Tariq Radio Ethnic Cleansing. What that broadcast breaks down is a manual called FM6 2003. And if you can download this online. In fact, I have it on my Patreon. If you look at this manual, you will see it reads like a newspaper of the violence that's being committed against us right now. I mean, it is essential study for Black people today. And the last thing, if you all are so inclined, if you do have the time, I have a premiere coming up on the white supremacist ideology of the tether. It's a very important piece of historical information that I think it would be well worth you reviewing. It starts at 6:30. And if you want to know where to find my YouTube channel, just see the pinned comment of my profile. With that being said, I want everybody that's in this room, everybody that plays this back recorded, to remember that we are a powerful and a mighty people. We belong to each other. We have to get selfish about protecting one another, black men and black women. You are powerful people. You're beautiful people. And I love each and every one of you all. And hopefully the next time we get together, it'll be another constructive conversation. With that said, black first. And I will talk to you all later on. And I'll see you all in future content. Have a great day and a great rest of your weekend. Peace. Take care.